been proven to be naturally more tender and flavorful than other brands. All their steaks are aged 21 days, hand-cut daily, and grilled over an open charcoal flame. This process provides a wonderful aroma and delicious flavor that cannot be duplicated by any other cooking method. Hereford House, Leawood, Independence, Shawnee, and Zona Rosa.
Whether you're looking for energy savings for the winter or updating your home office or man cave, One Stop Decorating is the place for beautiful, energy-efficient window coverings. One Stop Decorating offers free in-home or virtual consultations, or you can come into one of their 3 beautiful showrooms to see all the window coverings in their Hunter Douglas galleries. Ask about smart shades that can be controlled by Google, Alexa, and HomeKit. 913-270-0408, 913-270-0408, or onestopdecorating.com. Your home, your windows, your style.
When do you think about your insurance? Chances are it's when you're paying your bill or filing a claim. At Briar Payne Mead, we always think about your insurance. It's what we do. Buying a car, having a baby, building a home, starting a business. Then it's time to call BPM at 913-681-099 or visit us on the web at bpminsurance.com. Great service and extremely competitive rates from the top-rated companies. Briar Payne Mead, 913-681-099. That's 913-681-099.
Every weekday on Sports Radio 810, tune in to hear Kansas City's favorite local lineup. At 6 a.m., wake up with the Border Patrol with Stephen St. John and Nate Bucati. At 10, it's The Zone with Jason Anderson. Now at 2, get into the program with Soren Petro. And wrap up your day on Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco. Kansas City's hometown sports station. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
WHB Kansas City.
Isn't this a sports show?
This show hasn't been very good so far tonight, has it?
I disagree.
This show is not. I'm not going to even be defensive about it. This show's just not been very good tonight.
I disagree.
The first show I did was good.
I disagree.
And I think
Almost Entirely.
Wow, that joke stunk.
I thought it was pretty good.
That was not funny.
I liked it.
I didn't.
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
Hot diggity darn. I could absolutely put my face into a plate of barbecue and eat it like a piggy out of a trough right now.
Take the show with you by listening on the Sports Radio 810 mobile app at 810WHB.com or by searching for Almost Entirely Sports wherever you get your podcasts.
The good news is whenever I hung my head in shame there, I did find the pen I was looking for. It had fallen into my lap. So that's a pretty big victory for all of us.
This is Almost Entirely Sports on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Hey, boy, whoop. Buttons working, Beards? Are you okay?
We're fine.
Everything, something stuck over there?
We're good.
Did you
I
get
was
some
wondering
Cheeto dust in the button?
Just maybe you had the volume just turned way, way down. I was like, I don't know if I hear Josh talking right now.
No, my first thought, I'll tell you how fine-tuned these ears are to radio momentarily. But I have the audio right now louder than I really want it to be, partially because I want Rudy to be able to hear, and I want to be able to hear my own voice. But our headphones come through at different volume levels. You might say, well, what about the volume knob, Josh? Well, it's because those don't really work the
Mine's
same way.
Mine's cranked all the way.
Is it really?
Yep.
Yeah, mine's higher than I want for it to
volume.
be, but if I turn it down any, it's going to leave my left ear and whatnot.
Then you won't have no sound.
I was trying to wish you a happy Monday, and I think maybe partway through the word day, you heard me, because Beards had, he had some Sweet Tart Shocker dust that got stuck in the buttons, because he crushes them up and snorts them before every show. I think that's a relatively well-known piece of Almost Entirely Sports trivia at this point. You want to know the crazy, crazy thing I realized? I don't know. At this point, maybe it's been a month or two that I realized that I've been doing this, and I'm sure I've been doing it for much longer. I can tell with I think 100% accuracy, except for maybe when the intro is playing. Even then, oftentimes. But I can tell with pretty darn near 100% accuracy when my microphone is on or not, just by the headphones and just kind of some of the surrounding sounds from the room, to the point that I caught myself. We played some piece of Brett Veach audio or whatever, and I was about to start talking, but then I, without even thinking about it, waited a beat until I heard the just faintest amount of audio coming through the microphone into my headset, so I knew Beards had hit the button. So I waited a half second to make sure that what I was going to say was not going to be clipped at the front end without even having to think about it, because that is how much of a finely tuned machine we are, and that I am. I am a radio doing machine at this point, where the only flaw is really my personality and technique and interests. But the technical aspect of it, I got it down. Here's one thing I'll tell you about on the front end. Actually, a couple of things, then we're going to get into a whole bunch of stuff over the course of today's show. One, I need to tell you that we, between Sports Radio 810 WHB and ESPN Kansas City, are going to have just about every single meaningful college basketball game happening on these United States of America over the next week or so. Right, we got one right now over on ESPN Kansas City. I don't know who plays in the Southern Conference. Rudy probably does. Who's playing? I don't even care who's playing in the Southern Conference Championship right now. Who is a Southern Conference team?
Mercer, UNC Greensboro, probably UNC Asheville.
This guy.
The championship game is UNC Greensboro versus Mercer.
But we're going to have, between Sports Radio 810 and ESPN Kansas City, which is 1510 AM, 94.5 FM, we're going to have the Big 12 tournament, the semifinals and the championship game. We're going to have the SEC tournament, the semis and the championship game. We're going to have the ACC tournament, the Big 10 championship game, the Pac-12 championship, the American championship, the Big East championship. We got all sorts of conference championship games happening between these two stations, brought to you by Creative Planning, 23rd Street Brewery, and Miller Lite and Coors Light. So that is one thing you need to know. The other thing is something that you can do to help us cram the van. One of my favorite little terms for a thing that we've ever done. I like the phrase cram the van. Rudy giggled. Beards looked at me funny. I like it. Sports Radio 810, Lewisburg Ford, and Aldi are partnering to help cram the van with donations for the Salvation Army and local food banks. Bet you feel bad for laughing now, guys. It's a good cause with a good name. This Wednesday, you can stop by Lewisburg Ford at 111 Fairland Drive in Lewisburg and find the Lewisburg Ford van, or head to Aldi in Shawnee from 8 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. or Aldi in Lee Summit from 1:30 to 6 p.m. Mark your calendars this Wednesday, and together we can all make a difference. So there you go. Coming up this Wednesday, you can help cram the van with Aldi at those locations. So here's the gist of where we're at right now. Just about an hour ago, Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys came to terms on a long-term deal that'll keep Dak in Dallas for a while now. It won't be the be-all, end-all for his contract, by the way. He should be hitting the market again about whenever the potential sports betting money deals would be coming in. I believe the next round of TV deals should be kicking in whenever Dak is looking for his next deal. But he's getting a 4-year, $160 million deal with a record $126 million guaranteed. Remember, Patrick Mahomes has these rolling guarantee mechanisms, so it's not quite apples to apples there. The first 3 years average $42 million per year, but it's actually a 6-year deal that voids to 4 years, so it helps the Cowboys spread that cap hit out over 6 years, which is actually really, really interesting. There are some implications there that I think are kind of fun, but the main thing is that this is just an absolutely devastating blow to First Take, to the talking about nothing business, to sports media on a national scale in general. We were out at Power and Light earlier today, and we're getting some things set up for what's coming to P&L over the next week, really over the next month, actually. And I looked at the what are you looking at me funny for?
Month.
It's a month-long ordeal, right?
The Big 12 tournament?
No. The whole Hoop Central.
Oh. Okay. I guess I didn't realize. I thought it was just for the Big 12 tournament.
Isn't that
it probably,
on the flyer?
It probably is. I
boy.
just thought it was just. I just assumed.
I had Rudy print stuff out today. I felt so well prepared to make sure I was sponsoring and promoting all of the things that we needed to promote today.
Here's the thing. I'm sure I just assumed it was for the Big 12 tournament, but you know what they say when you assume?
It makes good guesses. out of you and me.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Let's see. No, Hoop Central, which will be presented by Sports Radio 810. We can talk about this, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I already had
We can talk
two
about Hoop
things. I
Central.
didn't want to accidentally. Someone else has talked about this on the radio before.
Well,
I
we're
have,
doing
right?
it now,
Yes.
so too late.
But there's going to be some stuff going on, socially distanced, out at Power and Light, all the way.
yeah.
We went up today, and it's all the work that we did today,
If
Rudy,
I
is
just
staying there through April 5th.
Would have
National
read
Championship game.
the second sentence. I made it through one, and then I skipped to like the third paragraph. But if I just would have read the second sentence, I'd see here.
That's all right. You made me second guess
This
myself,
also now
but-
answers the question when I was wondering, like, when do we have to take it all down? Because I was like, I wonder if we're going to have to do that on Monday. And it's just like, okay, so Monday I'm probably going to have to tear it all down
No,
after the
sir.
show. No way, Jose.
Got Hoop Central, presented by Sports Radio 810 WHB, and presented by Miller Lite and Coors Light, and of course the wonderful Power
It's a
and Light
very,
District.
very nice setup out there.
Yeah, I think it ought to be pretty nice.
Yeah.
But we were out there today setting stuff up, and at one point at Johnny's, I looked up at the TV screens that were surrounding us, and there were no less than 15 of those TVs on First Take, I think, and it was all, will Dak and the Cowboys get a deal done before the franchise tag deadline?
Well, no, Josh. No, they still have stuff to talk about because now it's, is Dak worth that money?
Here's the thing, though, Beards, because somebody mentioned this on Twitter also, and you're right in the short term. You're absolutely right in the short term. But
That's a week-to-week topic, man.
But
No,
the
Monday,
that's a-
second hour.
It's
not.
not just week to week, Beards. It's not just week
this
to
is-
week.
They will maybe, honestly, I don't know if it's a story that lasts the whole week now that he signed.
This has been an annual topic, Beards. This last year, the bread and butter of last offseason, we had no sports at about this time. Sports were over. So what was every damn day on ESPN? Are the Cowboys going to get a deal done with Dak Prescott before the season? Because they were tired of pretending to be epidemiologists. Because that's hard.
Yeah.
You know what's easy? Dak going to get a deal done? Dak, Cowboys? Should they pay Dak? So we'll talk about that at some point as well. I also saw a very good comment. Lots of stuff going on over on the various video streams that you can see. You can watch the show on the Sports Radio 810 Facebook page, Twitch channel, and YouTube page. I love you all equally, but I love Twitch the most. But equally.
People say, I can say this having no kids, but people say you can't rank your kids. I could rank my nieces and nephews at any given moment. Easy. 1, 2, 3, no problem.
You want to do that? They're not listening.
Number 1, my munchkin. That's Skylar. She's the oldest. She'll be my favorite till the day I die, probably.
Right.
Which may be soon. Who knows?
And what if she kills you?
Honestly, wouldn't be a huge surprise.
Would she drop?
She gets money if I die.
Would she drop from 2 to 2 or 3?
No, because honestly, it should go from like 1 to like what's better than 1 because it's smart.
That's true.
Like she's just being smart. She's thinking, hey, I don't want debt for the rest of my life.
Fair enough.
Here's how I get it. Number 2, unborn baby who's coming up because there's so much potential there, right?
Wow.
You just don't know.
That's
yet.
a real shot.
You just don't know.
Unborn baby overranked somebody?
Yeah.
And number 3, the unborn baby's coming this week, on Thursday.
But they haven't even done.
maybe
They don't
Friday.
even.
But there's potential. It's
It's a
like,
draft pick right now.
Yeah, it is the high school player. Right, it's drafting
Yeah.
a player right out of high school.
Yeah.
You just don't know.
Could
It
be Bobby
anything.
Witt. Could bust
be
out.
Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
Could be Kwame Brown. You don't
Yeah,
know.
sure.
You just don't know.
Sure.
And number 3, hey, I love you, Benny. You're great.
Do you?
I think you got a chance to be a future left guard. He's got some big old legs. I'd love to say he's a future quarterback, but I look at that kid, I know him.
Benny's got tree trunks for legs already.
Benny has got tree trunks for legs, and he likes to hit things.
I mean,
That is a left guard if I've ever seen one.
That's-
And he'll
that's pretty
split
good.
between left guard and nose tackle, and we'll just see just how quick he is will determine which route he goes, offensively or defensively.
Good call.
Right?
Here's what I'll say. Listen, everybody who's got husky children at home right now. Here's the thing. Whenever you think about just getting your kid to play football or playing football as a kid or whatever, if you can be touching the ball, that's what you want to do,
Yes.
generally speaking.
Yeah.
You want to be the quarterback, receiver, tight end, running back, whatever. I was a fullback for a good portion of my high school
It
career.
explains your love of fullbacks.
It really does. And here's the thing: is I have obviously a place in my heart forever for Anthony Sherman, but
Of course.
I'm not really your ground and pound kind of type, generally speaking. But that was great, even though I think I got one carry at the end of that season.
Nice.
I wasn't explosive, but I was a grinder. Loved the film, grinding tape.
Really,
Real coach's
really
kid.
hit those blocks.
Really, I occasionally would be known to block somebody.
Mm-hmm.
But as soon as you realize that you're not going to be allowed to touch the football, you've got to start pushing every single kid to the defensive side because defense is way more fun. Because one reason also I decided I didn't really want to be a running back. Not that I had much say in the matter. It was really taken out of my hands, literally.
Didn't like getting hit.
I don't
assume.
like getting
Yeah,
hit.
it's not fun.
But hitting is
That's not
fun
bad.
forever. Now, if you're a defensive lineman that's getting blown off your spot because you're inexplicably playing a team that has 40 players, because in your team at that time has, I believe, 13, and they're all like little mini superheroes, and Maranatha doesn't have a full roster for players on each side of the ball.
So what you're telling
It's
me
not
there was
as
no Tim Tebow on this roster?
No, we were all Tim Tebow. We were all Tim Tebow, but set to the opposite of Wumbo. What do you get? Beers looked at me like I'm a crazy person because Beers didn't watch SpongeBob. You can set it to Wumbo, and I think it makes it bigger by more. I don't remember. But I do like just playing like defensive. Like I think defensive end might be the play. If you think this kid can get some explosiveness.
For sure.
Defensive end's a lot of fun because going after the quarterback is a good time.
Oh, it's great.
But also, it's something that you lose in like flag football or whatever.
Uh-huh.
You got to have hands in like flag football.
Now maybe maybe football won't even be it. Maybe he'll be a DH. Maybe he'll just be a guy who's just out there hitting dingers.
You gotta.
And here's the thing. I thought, why I thought of that? Transition.
Was it that kid from?
You know who's the new hitting coach of the Idaho Falls Chuckers? Billy freaking Butler, baby.
Is he really? Did news just break about Billy Butler?
Yeah, it's been. I just saw it, but it's been out for a little bit. Billy Butler is your new Idaho Falls Chuckers.
We were just talking
hitting
about Billy
coach.
Butler on Friday.
They had the Idaho Falls had a good Twitter campaign, maybe yesterday or Saturday, where it was a screen grab of like Pokemon Red or Pokemon Blue, where there's like it's a wild Pokemon appears, but it was like a new manager has appeared. And then today they announced, like who that is, and Billy Butler, hitting coach.
God, I'm so happy that Billy
Freaking
Butler's
legend,
in baseball
man.
again. That's so exciting.
Legend. You tell me my nephew's gonna be the next Billy Butler, I'd be like, heck yeah.
Casey Fanatic on Twitch said if you're a defensive end, you may be caught covering Antonio Brown 40 yards down the field.
Well,
I didn't say that play. Listen, if your kid's defense is coached by Bob Sutton, then just be day to day forever and be careful with your heels.
Wait it out. He'll be gone after the end of the year.
That's true.
Just wait it out.
You might have to burn 1 year of eligibility. See if you can redshirt that year. It'll be fine.
Be like, Coach, I need a red shirt.
The main thing that I wanted to address right now is that I am the Rob Lowe of the show at the moment because Rob Lowe famously has that NFL hat that was wearing on the sidelines of some game, where he just looked like a generic NFL fan, or perhaps he was there to root for the referees. I have this hoodie that just says NBA on it with the NBA
hoodie,
logo. Here's the thing: I don't think you can tell on the stream that it's a hoodie, and it's a really good hoodie. It's like made of moisture wicking material.
It's a good hoodie.
It's light as a feather.
Yeah.
It's kind of a long line cut, which is good. So it gives you that hoodie hug without the hoodie heat. And that's so important to me. I will wear this. It's already started.
Same.
The logo started to crack in some places. I will wear this hoodie until it is hanging off of me by a thread. And it will be graphic, and I will be wearing it on the stream. And I will be wearing this hoodie until it is holding on by merely a thread because it is a peak hoodie. I have another one that's basically like this. I really thought we were going to start with Les Miles today, to be honest. But the Dak stuff happened, and then we got to talk about cramming the van and Billy Butler and whatever. There's another hoodie that I have, and it makes me think I need to try to expand this particular part of my wardrobe. There's another one of the very lightweight hoodies that not just a thin hoodie, like the ones that we have in the 810 fan shop are legitimately excellent. Where they're thin, but there's still kind of a fuzz on the inside.
Yeah.
Those are gonna be good for a little while longer. But once you start getting into 70s, it's really tough to make any hoodie work. Renee bought me, girlfriend Renee. I gotta introduce the characters every time. It's important to me. I did explain to Renee at one point. I was like, listen, at this point, girlfriend Renee, she's like, we can't get married because now fiance Renee is a very good name. That's a different person though. So we're gonna have to neither one of you tell her this.
Gotta stay.
She's definitely not listening.
Yeah. Just gotta stay as girlfriend Renee.
Yeah,
I totally understand.
Specifically because I don't want to have to retrain the ears of the listener. She gets it.
Yeah. It's not that you don't want to. It's just it's for the betterment of the community.
And specifically the radio show.
Yeah.
And and if she doesn't think that's a cause worth supporting, then she could. I was gonna say she could order food next time, but we do use her DoorDash account because she's got Prime or whatever it's called. So that joke wasn't even gonna work.
Married.
Yeah.
People would storm the courthouse to stop it because it would just cause chaos and anarchy.
Yeah, it would really be the downfall of
society.
It'd be the downfall of society. There'd be a dude wearing Viking horns and all sorts of nonsense.
How do you think every great society, throughout the history of time has fallen?
A politically motivated marriage.
Yep.
Speaking of which, you guys want to talk about the Crown or whatever? I only kind of followed what was going on with
somebody had
Harry,
a baby.
Meghan, and
it was a girl.
What we found out, basically, I think, is that this basically eternally old monarchy of old white people can be racist. I think it's what we learned. I wasn't really paying attention. I know it's stunning.
Huh. Changes everything.
Permanently girlfriend Renee. She's at work. She can't hear this. She might subscribe to the podcast. There's no way she's listening.
She's just playing through at 3 times speed just to help boost the stats.
Right. And just to see if her name pops up.
Yeah.
That's what I would do. But she got me a hoodie at one point that is very similar. It was just straight up like AliExpress, like made in China. And you have to hope it shows up in a size that translates from Asian sizes to American sizes. It's a whole deal. But it's basically made of the same material, and it's incredibly comfortable. But it's a Rick and Morty, like, all over print, absolutely chaotic looking piece of fabric that it's one of those things where I have to look at in the mirror before I leave every day and think, if I get to the station at a time that Lebo's at the station, am I prepared to be bullied for my clothing choices today?
I mean, he's going to bully you regardless, really, of what you wear, so...
810 stuff is safe, depending on what the pants are.
Yeah.
Jeans are usually pretty safe, unless they're the ones that are too tight with, like, the acid kind of spray or whatever on them. He will bully me for those. It's just a matter of how ready I am to be bullied by Lebo.
I mean, it's understandable.
This is pretty safe, though. It's just this one I get bullied by the Twitch.
Twitch would never bully you.
But I'm okay with being bullied by Twitch.
The internet doesn't do that. Never.
I just saw the word teal on Twitter, and I was trying to say the word tier. If you're a tier 3 subscriber, you can I'll give you my personal phone number, and you can bully me whenever you feel the need. That's my offer. One gunner down on Twitch that I hate ordering clothes on Alibaba. I think Alibaba and AliExpress are owned by the same. I think they're basically the same.
Yeah.
I don't know the difference. So I wear a XXX in US and ordered a 5X and it's still too small. Dang Chinese sizes. I don't know if it's just America is just fat.
Yeah.
Is it that simple?
Yeah.
It might just be that simple.
Yeah.
We're
just a lot bigger than the rest of the
the rest of
the world.
We're just a big nation.
Maybe with the exception of New Zealand, but they're not really fat. They all just seem to be like 7 foot tall.
Is that a
stereotype?
It's just,
that's where Tyler Adams is from, and he has like 7 or 8 brothers and sisters who are all like 7 foot tall.
Yeah,
they're just a whole family, and both the mom and dad are like 6'10" or taller or whatever. They're just a wildly tall family.
Z-Man is also now threatening to become a tier 3 subscriber, so I have to give him my phone number. He can bully me all the time.
Z-Man, call his
It's a bluff. It's a bluff. I fold.
Z-Man, do it.
I fold. Please don't. I mean, I would.
Z-Man, do
I
it.
would sell my phone number. I guess.
Z-Man.
I just don't want to get bullied by.
I'll give your number out for free.
I don't want to get bullied by a stranger at 4 a.m. It's a text that just says,
Okay,
will never be good enough.
We'll give out the number, but you have to promise just between the hours of midnight and 6 a.m., it's just an off period. You have to lay off. 6
I think it might be
a.m., you
worse
can
to
start
get
back
it at
up.
6 a.m. Or even if it's at 7 or 8 a.m. If the first thing I
You don't
see
wanna
in the
start
morning,
your day off like that.
no, it's just a private phone number
Okay.
just telling me that I really have developed a larger gut over the course of the pandemic. I'm gonna say, well, thanks, man. This wasn't worth $25. This is my wake up text every day.
We'll figure this out.
See, man, it says once that stimmy drops, watch out. What's $1,400 divided by $24.99? I got a few months worth. Oh,
If you subscribe tier 3 for a year, yeah, I'll give you Josh's and Beards' number.
I mean, but just
and my work phone, not the personal one.
Justin the Monstar, I think a new username and a good one. So welcome, Justin. Says, Josh, he doesn't have to message you that if you already admit it, man. That's a fair point.
Good point.
My fear, though, here is that it's going to unearth something else about me that I didn't already know. I can only use examples of things I already know.
Mm-hmm.
But if it preys on some insecurity that I thought I had hidden away from the rest of the world, and then that's something that I get called out for, like, I don't think I have a receding hairline, but what if he thinks I do? Oh, God. Here we go. Let's take a break. Whenever we come back, this was a nice Friday show started so heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Tonight, I thought we were going to start heavy and then try to kind of ease back out of it again. I feel like this is the energy we need. Whenever we come back, maybe we'll talk a little Dak. I want to give you the update on the Les Miles thing. But, you know, maybe the vibe is a little healthier tonight. We'll see if we can keep that energy whenever we come back.
Want more Almost Entirely Sports? Watch the show live on the Sports Radio 810 Facebook page.
Spring training isn't just for baseball players. You can lose those pandemic pounds and get into shape before the warmer weather, since it only takes 40 days to lose a contractually guaranteed 20 to 40 plus pounds with NJ Diet. NJ Diet's program starts with bioenergetically personalized supplements based on your hair, saliva, and blood work. Then, NJ Diet uses DNA testing to create your ideal diet and workout regimen to help you keep it off. Don't want to do it alone? NJ Diet is with you every step of the way. You will be fully monitored by their certified staff to make sure you are burning fat and not just losing water. You'll also get the doctor's personal email and phone number. NJ Diet offers live online video consultations, and they have a location close by, right off 435 by the corner of College and Metcalf. Call 855-5NJ-DIET. That's 855-5NJ-DIET. Or go to njdiet.com and lose the weight for good. That's njdiet.com.
Prime Lending's mortgage professionals are ready to assist you with your next home loan or refinance of your current residence. Prime Lending has 10 convenient locations to serve you. Visit whyprimelendingkc.com. That's WHYPrimelendingkc.com or call 816-600-4561. Prime Lending ranked #1 mortgage lender in the Kansas City, Missouri metro area market per Market Track January 2019 to October 2020. All loans subject to credit approval, rates and fees subject to change. Prime Lending, a Plains Capital Company, NMLS 13649, is an equal housing lender.
It's Family Leisure's Factory Direct Hot Tub Sale. We have hot tubs coming in every week. No need to wait for months. Come get your dream hot tub today. Family Leisure also has pools in stock for spring installation. Don't go another summer without a pool for your family. Come in and see our huge selection of patio furniture. Family Leisure is your one-stop shop for pool tables, shuffleboard, bar stools, and home theater seating. All priced to go. Mention 810 and save more at Family Leisure in Olathe.
913-888-7727. Awesome.
2 chocolate chip muffins coming in. Thank you.
Indeed knows unexpected growth can stretch your business thin.
Hey, can someone get that?
Like at Claire's Cafe. To satisfy demand for takeout, she needs to get started hiring right away.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. And the moment you sponsor a job on Indeed, you get a short list of quality candidates from our resume database. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get a $75 credit for your first sponsored job post. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey everyone, Les Norman here, host of the Breaking the Norm show. Since '95, I've made KC my home, and since then, I've seen a World Series champion in 15, a Super Bowl champion in 20, and the greatest fans supporting both. It's the people that make me proud to call KC home. You're passionate about your teams and each other.
During this crazy time, keep caring for and loving each other. And thank you for making KC not only the greatest sports city, but also the most caring and helpful place to watch sports. Stay healthy, be safe, don't panic, and keep loving each other well.
The weather has changed, and next thing you know, you'll need to switch your furnace to AC. There is no better time than now to get a new AC. And this month only, you can get a new furnace for free to go with it. That's right. Buy a new AC and get a new furnace for free. Call the folks at Anthony and get ready for spring and summer while saving a lot of cash. That's Anthony, the technicians KC has trusted for 70 years. Get more information at AnthonyPHCE.com.
Bill was tired of saying no to his kids because of his debilitating pain.
I have 3 kids that are 13 and under. Every day they're asking, Dad, can we take a bike ride? Dad, can we play ping pong? Unfortunately, in the past, I had to sadly say no quite often.
An accident left Bill with aching knees and shoulders. Even after 4 knee surgeries, Bill still felt constant pain in his knees. And then he discovered QC Kinetics and their regenerative cell therapies.
I did it on the knee. It really became life-changing. I've had the same results with the shoulder.
QC Kinetics non-invasive regenerative cell treatments help restore damaged tissue and provide amazing relief for knees, hips, shoulders, and backs. Right there in the office, no downtime. Bill's able to say yes to just about anything these days.
Like taking my kids to Disney World and walking 10 miles a day at Disney, bike riding, taking a walk on the beach.
Call QC Kinetics for your free consultation today. Off 435 and State Line, 816-412-6299. QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299.
Listen up, you'll want to hear this. PRA Health Sciences is seeking healthy, non-smoking men and women ages 18 to 45 to participate in a study of an investigational medication. Volunteers must be available for one stay of 8 nights, 9 days, and 1 follow-up visit. Additional eligibility criteria applies. Qualified participants may receive compensation up to $3,500. Call PRA today at 913-210-5900 or visit us on the web at prastudies.com/Lonexa.
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
I have some very Bono-esque pink glasses that I did not wear with this jacket today because I didn't want to get beat up in the hallway by Todd Leba.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
I continue to think this is a real song until there's no hey, hey, hey that shows up in it. It's very disorienting. As was Beards just magically creating a cherry limeade out of thin air during the break. You asked if I wanted you to explain it when we came back. The answer is honestly not really, but if there's something to it, I guess, then explain to me why you just got a very nice-looking cherry limeade.
Because my fiance, Rebecca, texted me 30 minutes ago. I was like, hey, I got something for you. Do you mind if I swing by the station in 30 minutes and drop it off? And I was like, interesting.
Yeah, she didn't say what it was.
No, she did not say what it was.
Very alarming.
So I was like, okay, sure, that's fine. We might have to wait depending on when we go to break and whatever. So ran outside. Very large Topsy's cherry limeade.
Very happy
all for me.
you. All for I mean,
never heard of Topsy's.
You've probably
Really?
seen them at like a fair or a state fair or something.
They've got a booth at Kaufman as well.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you the last time.
They do popcorn. That's their main deal.
I probably haven't been to a fair in 20-ish years.
That's fair.
We both. But also, I don't recognize them.
Don't look at your screen, Rudy.
I don't remember them from Royals.
Rudy and I both got called out pretty hard during the commercial break, but I'd just like to address that before we move on to the next thing. One, somebody on Twitch, Patton. Yeah, sure, close enough. Petonius85 said, good to know Josh just plays Pokemon Go mid-show. During breaks, I'll occasionally check and see what's popped up. Absolutely. But then also, somebody on Facebook, who actually I can't see the name of, apologies, Facebook commenter.
Oh, I didn't get this comment.
Said, I love how Rudy is slapping himself. I also was alarmed by this happening during the break.
Wait, where is
Rudy
this?
was just, I don't know, I just have it on the caster. Rudy, why are you slapping yourself during the commercial break? Are you okay?
Oh, waking myself up. But yeah, I can't find this comment now.
Is that a normal thing to do?
It's on the AES Facebook page.
Yeah, but it's not popping up on mine.
I see.
Do you want to just say the first name of who left that comment?
Yes,
Beards.
it was Jonesy Jones.
Thank you, Jones. I also noticed that happening in real time and was
Wait.
very alarmed by it.
I see the issue.
Sure.
On the Almost Entirely Sports page,
Where you can watch the show every night.
I was watching the March 5th show.
How was it? Do you look like you were having a good time? Was that the Top Shot show?
Yeah, that was the, I was in the Les Miles part.
So does that mean that you tweeted out the link for the March 5th show?
No, because I don't tweet out the Almost Entirely Sports show.
Okay.
Yeah, we're good. We're safe. Everything's fine.
But yes, when I get real sleepy, a little slap. Z-Man, I do not like coffee.
But you have it.
And I am,
Z-Man says, why
I
drink
am
coffee when you
out
can
of,
assault yourself?
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. I see. I don't like coffee, and I am currently out of
G Fuel.
G Fuel, and I don't need any more caffeine because I want to be able to go to bed the second I get
slap
home.
to your own face?
Listen,
Yeah, just
Rudy
wakes myself
doesn't
up a little
drink
bit.
coffee. He injects energy drinks directly into his veins.
Rudy is giving himself kinetic
like, I
energy
need,
from hitting himself in the face.
Just a little pop, wake myself up because I need to be able to go to bed the second I get home since I've got to be up at 4:30 a.m. tomorrow.
Would you like for Beards and I to start taking matters literally
I mean,
into our
no,
own
I don't want
hands?
other people to slap me. I
Well,
just
but
want,
think about
like,
how
a
much
little-
more
a little
energizing.
pop.
Think about how much more energizing
Like,
it'll be if you don't know it's coming.
But see, I know how.
Or what?
Thank you.
I know how hard to like kind of just like pop myself to where it does not hurt.
Well, listen, we can do trial and error on
See,
this.
but exactly, I don't need trial and error. I know.
experiment.
I just know. I've got this down. It's a science. I know the exact amount of force that needs to be behind it. I know the exact location. Just a little pop.
It almost definitely can't be referred to as a science. That
It
seems
is absolutely a science.
that seems really irresponsible.
It is absolutely a science. I don't know if it's good science, but it's science.
All right. What if we just call this segment our last segment of the hour, and then we come back and we'll do Les Miles with a little more time to talk about it?
And, maybe Dak Prescott at some point.
Here's the plan for the show. We'll talk about Les Miles and KU and all of that stuff with Scott Chasen of 24/7 Sports and Fog.net coming up at 9 tonight. Matt Derrick of Chiefs Digest will join us at 8. We'll talk about Dak and some franchise tag deadline stuff. The Chiefs will have obviously a lot to figure out in free agency, which is just around the corner. We'll talk about that with Matt at 8. Whenever we come back, I'm not going to look at any of the comments anywhere, and we're going to have a very serious conversation about Les Miles for the second show in a row, and then we'll move on to figuring out if Rudy can't come up with a healthier way to keep himself awake during shows.
By the way, Z-Man, I would absolutely slap myself for a tier 3 sub. No problem.
We are getting closer and closer now to a reality where we just pay Twitch. We allow Twitch users to pay us to hurt ourselves.
Sure, I'm fine with that.
Can I slap you for a tier 3 sub?
I know where an ore is.
To get slapped with an oar, I'm gonna need a full.
I'm gonna
years
say
in
it's my.
advance.
Because here's the thing: if you say that I can slap you as hard as I want for $25,
No, I don't know about as
I'm gonna
hard.
give you $25, and we're gonna make content out of this
Well,
puppy.
for $25.
You bought a pack of Top Shot. I'll buy your next pack of Top Shot.
Done.
For a good
Let's do
slap
this.
across the face.
Done. Let's do this. Top Shot pack, freaking.
Well, for a $12 one, I'm not gonna pay it for a $200 one.
I mean, no, yeah, I'm not talking about a $199 pack, but like a reasonable 25 or less. Yeah, absolutely.
But you wouldn't do it for $25 cash.
No, I would do it for $25 cash. I just would do it even more for the pack. There's a little bit more enthusiasm in the yes. It's like, yeah, I'll do it for $25. It's like, yeah, heck yeah, let's do this.
Do you have
for
to
a
weigh
pack.
your options at all?
No, I'm good. It's a slap.
Does it have to be with my
open hands?
Open hands.
Otherwise, it's a punch.
What if it's my open hand holding an oar?
Or what?
At JB Brisco, at Beards McFly, at Not That Rudy, at Sports Radio 810. Just do it already.
With its dedication to bringing wellness to Kansas City, CBD American Shaman is excited to announce the opening of Shaman's Leewood Total Wellness at 117th and Row in Camelot Court. Shaman's Leewood Total Wellness offers medical aesthetics and IV nutrient therapy, and there is a full-service CBD American Shaman store there too. Start your journey to wellness with Shaman's Leewood Total Wellness. Call 913-227-9150 or go to shamantotalwellness.com. Life is better with the feather.
Premier Mazda of Kansas City, where you can save thousands on new 2021 Mazdas. All new 2021 Mazda 6 Touring, just $269 a month. Mazda CX-5 Touring for just $289, and the Mazda CX-9 Grand Touring, just $389 a month. The deals don't stop there. Get the 2021 Mazda CX-30 Premium Package for just $249 a month and as low as 0% APR for up to 48 months. Come to the #1 Mazda dealer in KC, Premier Mazda of Kansas City, home of the Premier Promise. Right past State Line and 135th or at PremierMazdaKC.com. See dealer for details.
Car enthusiasts looking for the best place to store and show off your car? Check out the KC Underground, Kansas City's car collection. KC Underground is part of the Kansas City Automotive Museum and provides a safe place to store your vehicle with 24-hour monitoring while sharing its history. Call today to reserve a spot underground for your car. Use the promo code 810 and you'll receive a 10% discount. Go to thekcunderground.com or call 816-492-7147 and mention 810-WHB. If you can see the skyline, the KC Underground is just moments away.
Okay, so you met the love of your life. She's dropped all the hints, and you're totally committed. Now what? Come to Shane Company and get the ring. You gotta experience a visit to Shane Company. Get to the store or go online and see what it's all about. You won't believe all our ring settings. Those halo rings she's been liking on Instagram? Yeah, we got those. Classic solitaire rings? We've got those too. Whatever it is she loves in every price range, it's here. Not really sure? We'll help you figure it out. With our huge assortment of always natural, always ethically sourced diamonds, rubies, and sapphires, you'll have tons of options to create a ring that's so her. Our non-commissioned jewelry consultants will help you get an awesome ring that fits your budget, whether you come into the store or go online. You can even book an in-store or virtual appointment. We'll make sure her engagement ring is perfect. And the proposal? Well, that's where you get to shine.
Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and ShaneCo.com.
When you're thinking about New Orleans, why not let jazz cook for you?
Laissez le bon temps rouler. Let the good times roll. That's what we do at Jazz. Papa Vic here to tell you about what's happening at your favorite restaurant, Jazz, a Louisiana kitchen. COVID still got you down? No worries. We're open. Come in and let Jazz cook for you. We've partnered with Proactive Protect to provide nanotechnology protection that sanitizes all our tables, chairs, and the interior of the restaurant. So come on in. Everybody is safe. Tired of your mama's cooking? Check out our website, jazzkitchens.com, and place your order online or through MenuFi. Not comfortable coming in? Check out our dedicated curbside parking spots, and we'll bring the taste of New Orleans to your car. 3 locations, the original at 39th and State Line, and at Legends of Village West, our newest location in Independence at I-70 and 291, just east of the Cable Dahmer Arena. Jazz, with a Dixieland band and a sultry day and everybody.
Yes, if you're dreaming about New Orleans, let jazz do your cooking up for you.
Jazz, where there's always a party every night.
Easton Roofing. Estimates are always free and suggestions are built on integrity. Let Easton Roofing educate you about every possible roofing solution for your home or business. And right now, mention 810 and get 10% off, up to $500 on a re-roof, roof repairs, attic insulation, or gutters. That's right, mention 810 and save 10%, up to $500. Go to eastonroofing.com for more details. Easton Roofing, getting you back to life faster. Estimate has to be written and signed between now and March 18th. This is not an offer or inducement to pay part or all of any insurance deductible.
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco.
I did not have in the show notes talk about how clean Rudy's butt was all pandemic, but here we are.
On Sports Radio 810, WHB.
Rudy, you were telling me something as the liner was playing, and I didn't hear a word you said because I did hear the liner. Is what you're gonna say for air or not?
I mean, Kimmy, it's not important. I was just saying my points on G Fuel finally hit, so I was gonna redeem for that the tall boy Twitch Cup.
That's very exciting. We got to get you more artificial energy, so you don't have to slap yourself in the face, basically.
I never have enough energy in me. Here's the thing: like the G Fuel absolutely helps me get through the day. But it's not meant to like necessarily help for 17-hour days. That was not the purpose of the G Fuel.
Neither is slapping yourself in the face, in my humble opinion.
It just gives me like that little bit of just a little wake up.
It gives you a little fight or flight response. It's
just a little wake up.
Rudy, it's so strange.
Little wake up.
All right, let's talk about Les Miles. Sound good?
Do we have to?
Yeah. Yeah, we do. So I'm just going to give you kind of the update, because honestly, I feel like most of the things we said on Friday's show, the first hour of Friday's show, stand true to this point, and not a ton of things have changed. A couple of things have changed, but if you really want 45 minutes of us having a real deep dug-in Les Miles conversation, I would direct you over there. Not even because I don't feel like we can talk about it again. We definitely could if we just need to. We'll talk about it with Scott and get his opinion on some things. I just personally don't love rehashing the same thing, 5 shows in a row or whatever. And because we were on at night on Friday, we had a chance to talk about like him being put on administrative leave whenever, the other shows were talking about it for the first time today. So I feel like we oftentimes are kind of trailing that curve. We were a little bit ahead of it on this one. So I just want to talk about some of the things that came out over this weekend that I think are especially relevant, added on to our conversation from Friday. And then I'll give you one take of mine that may or may not age well, may or may not be, I don't know. I don't want to say is going to get me in trouble because it's not like some wild take, but in fact, I'm just going to give you the hint of that now. I don't know how you can feel good about Jeff Long being your AD as this all plays out for one reason or another. But here are 2 things that are interesting, and in both instances, I'm going to quote from Jesse Newell's story in the Kansas City Star. He was on the program earlier today as well. You can go check that out in the 810 mobile app or 810whb.com. One of the stories is dictating how the ESPN Plus documentary Miles to Go, which started filming at Les Miles' residence before he had been given or he had accepted the KU head football coaching job. One of the stories is about how the fact that was put into play, into process when it was, and all of those cameras existed when they did and where they did throughout the hiring process is going to make things even tougher in terms of KU convincing everyone else that this was a very real, and I think as Jeff Long said, a serious hiring process. And look, if your non-serious hiring process ends with you getting a coach that won a national championship not that long ago, and you think he's gonna be that figure for you rebuilding the KU program, I think that's excusable. I think it's not a great look, but I at least understand it. But now that you have found these skeletons in Les Miles' closet, if you didn't ever find them before this time, there are 2 doors you can go through, and I'll say it this way: this is why I think Les Miles is gone. I don't. Mm-hmm. Curtis made this point today. How many times does somebody end up on administrative leave in a situation like this and comes back with their job? Doesn't seem like it happens very often. Probably an example somewhere, but I can't think of it off the top of my head.
To add on that, Nate this morning also pointed out, and from like people, just from people he's talked to, right, who cover the sport or in the industry, like when a coach is put on administrative leave, the purpose is basically what is happening is the lawyers are talking about what the buyout's going to be.
Yeah.
Like he is going to be fired. The question just is simply how much will he get paid?
That's sort of where I'm at. So at this point, honestly, I think rightfully, by the way, I think the Les Miles portion of this story is certainly not irrelevant. It's not over. It's not done. But I feel like with the information that we have, you've got a pretty full picture of the issues with Les Miles and everything, which is why I can't help but kind of move on to the next thing, where if you're Jeff Long, you've got 2 doors that I think you can probably go through most likely and say, all right, let me explain what happened here. One is that you had ESPN Plus at Les Miles' place before you had the contract there, but this thing was a done deal from day one, essentially. That's door number 1. And That's an option. The
TV crew just happened to be there. It was just all pure luck.
They made
just
a good
pure
bet,
chance.
I believe what they
Just a coincidence.
said. And a lot of this came up whenever they were having the fight over the 74 cents. They were trying to not pay David Beatty after firing him. A lot of this had already come out. A lot of this has already been documented that obviously KU and Les Miles was borderline a foregone conclusion. It wouldn't surprise me one bit if Jeff Long got hired with the phrase, and I'll get Les Miles, sort of tacked on to the end of his sentences.
Mm-hmm.
That's one option you can go through. And you can say, well, because this was basically a predetermined outcome, we did not go through all of the background checks and everything that we usually would have gone through for another coaching candidate. Because it was Les Miles, and we made a misstep in that regard. Also, this is a snippet from Jesse's story in the Star. I remember this coming up around the David Beatty thing. When asked by Lyons to list the others he'd had in-person interviews with besides Miles, Long failed to correctly identify any of them. Jeff Long was asked who he had had in-person interviews with, and the only answer he could correctly identify was Les Miles. That is a tough look. But if you get the hire right, then you're, a genius. But you can go that way and say, well, we didn't put him through all of his paces. We didn't dig in as much as we should have in retrospect because it was Les Miles. Thought we were good there. All right, that's something. If I had to argue on behalf of Jeff Long there, I could make you a case, sure. Well, then you also get a CBS Sports story from Sunday quoting an anonymous high-ranking KU athletics official. They said, we did background checks. We did all those kinds of things. We talked to people about Les and what he was doing. No one gave any indication of this. That's another door. I find that one to be a little tough to get to because if you're going to go through extensive full vetting, strikes me as difficult to not be able to find the fact that a former AD at LSU wanted to fire him back in 2013, as we found out on Friday. Mm-hmm. That you couldn't. We also learned this with the former Mets GM. We also used this analogy on Friday, saying we did background checks, we did all those kinds of things. We talked to people about Les. Who did you ask? Because honestly, I think if you're going to hire a head football coach, even talking to some of the student workers that were around him might not be a bad source for just, hey, how is this guy to work with? And I'm guessing they didn't talk to any former student workers. And I'm not sure who they would have talked to, but that came out in the CBS Sports story.
Talked to Les.
And Les said he was good, yeah. Here's the story, though, that I think is
Mad
the
Hatter,
real...
maybe.
Probably, right? Here's the story that I think is the real zag on him here, the other door that KU could go through. And that Jeff Long could go through, and it's an issue on KU's doorstep here. Les Miles' lawyer... KU had, quote, significant information about LSU report ahead of release. I'm going to read you a little bit from Jesse Newell's story here in the Star. According to a 2013 investigation by another LSU-hired law firm, Taylor Porter, released Thursday, Miles was also accused of kissing a student twice in his parked car while also suggesting at times they go to a hotel or his condo, with the two parties eventually signing a settlement agreement that was first reported by the Times-Picayune and New Orleans Advocate last week. Ginsburg, in a statement released Saturday afternoon, questioned KU's motives while suggesting that Long and KU had more awareness about the allegations than they were letting on. Quote, before the release of the report last week, Kansas had been provided with significant information supporting Taylor Porter's conclusions. KU had also performed thorough due diligence before hiring Coach Miles, Ginsburg said. Kansas's decision to put Les Miles on administrative leave is both disturbing and unfair. Now, that's coming from the Les Miles side of things here. The logic there is, well, hold on, you can't put him on administrative leave, and you certainly won't be able to fire him with cause because you knew about this already. It's a wild way of going about it because you are admitting at least some amount of guilt. You're at least confirming the settlement that was agreed to, and then you don't settle over something that didn't exist at all. Like there's a lot. I'm grinding out a lot of nuance there, but there's a little. You can do a little something there, and this from Les Miles' side makes it sound, and I'm sure their official take would be, these allegations are obviously real. They exist in these documents. We maintain our innocence throughout all of these things, and whatever these actual things never happened, but the allegations happened. And KU knew about that, and now you cannot do anything about Les Miles. You knew that these allegations were out there. You cannot say that you're learning about this now and then firing him for cause after the fact. If that's true, I think if Jeff Long goes through the "we didn't dig in deep enough, we didn't really find out what was going on here" door, I think that door falls into a pit. And you go, well, you were hiring essentially your friend here, your qualified friend, but part of the read was you had the right read on who this person was, and your hiring process was essentially a facade. And this was back there and you didn't go get it. I think that is a negligence issue that essentially, you go through that door and you fall into a pit. If it's this, I think you go through and you open that door and you fall into a pit. Because you knew about this ahead of time, and you either had some judgment of, we don't think this is all real, we don't think this is going to be that impactful, or maybe, most upsettingly, we didn't think this was going to get out. That's the worst bet of any of them to make, because it leaves you no deniability for anything. Because you're saying, honestly, yeah, it's bad, and it's probably, you can say it's bad and it's real, but as long as nobody finds out this is our head football coach. That would be the worst outcome. I don't know which of those would be most applicable to KU in this situation, but I would have a really, 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 really tough time arguing for you that Jeff Long should pick the next KU head football coach, and it sounds like Les Miles is probably on his way out, and I don't know how you can make an argument that he shouldn't be at this point. I think that's relatively easy. I think Jeff Long is probably going to have the harder fight that he could pick up if he and KU are not of one mind on this. And frankly, I hope that the Kansas Athletic Department and all the leadership the whole way up is ready for that fight, because I just don't know how you can think that the program's in good hands anywhere at this point for KU football.
You're listening to Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Love the new car smell but think the car shopping process stinks? Check out OneRequest.com. Hi, this is Eric Westfall. We started OneRequest in Kansas City to make car shopping easy. We have over 5 million new and used listings. And with OneRequest, you don't share your personal information with sellers until you want to, which means you control your car shopping experience. We even have a concierge service for those who want the VIP treatment. Experience car shopping made easy. Request your car today at OneRequest.com.
OneRequest is not responsible for what you do with all the time you save.
Hey sports fans, Joni here, and I'm excited to tell you about the newly opened In the Zone Cryo. In the Zone Cryo will help decrease pain and inflammation, accelerate muscle recovery, increase your energy, and boost your immune system. In the Zone Cryo also offers Instasculpt fat reduction, personal training, infrared heat, compression therapy, and more. Mention Sports Radio 810 and receive 10% off your first service. Come see us at College and Metcalf. Call 913-208-4859 or visit inthezonecryo.com. Feel, look, and perform your best with In the Zone Cryo.
A reading from the Golden Oak Lending Book of Mortgage Lingo. What is Zipline? It's Golden Oak's fast and easy online mortgage tool that leaves you with more time to plan a family movie night.
I get to pick the movie.
And clean up the popcorn you weren't planning on sharing. At Golden Oak Lending, we speak mortgage and love translating it. Right now, rates are at a historic low 2.5%. Visit goldenoaklending.com to use Zipline. NMLS 114937, 2.5% fixed, 2.655% APR on a conventional 15-year mortgage with 30% equity and approved credit. JLB Corporation, 8595 College Boulevard, Overland Park, Kansas.
Hey, this is Stephen St. John for Window Nation. That recent blast of winter didn't just test your patience, it tested the integrity of your home's windows. Did they fog up? Frost up? Were they sweating with condensation? Could you feel cold air coming in? You need new windows. But that's actually good news because Window Nation's virtual home show extravaganza is going on now. Get 2 free windows with every 2 you buy. There's no limit. Plus, make no down payment with no payments and no interest for 24 months. Call Window Nation today for these once-a-year savings. But hurry, this offer is for a limited time. Buy 2 windows, get 2 free, and pay nothing for 2 full years. As a special bonus, call 866-90-NATION now and get a Nest thermostat with a house of windows. Call today for this buy now, pay later offer. 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com and please tell them Stephen St. John sent you.
Basketball is our favorite season. KC Live in the Power and Light District is Hoop Central. Join us at KC Live as we MC the pregame. McFadden's is offering a special brunch on Thursday and Saturday to fuel you up for game day. Carry out and dine in are available from all restaurants during the tournament. It's all brought to you by Coors Light, KC Live, and Sports Radio 810 WHB. For details or to reserve your table, visit powerandlightdistrict.com/basketball.
Kansas City's favorite sports station, 20 years and counting. Sports Radio 810 WHB, Kansas City.
WHB Kansas City
is Sports Center. I'm Jim Baswell, lead it off from the NFL with the Cowboys agreed to a new deal with quarterback Dak Prescott. It's 4 years, $160 million, $126 million is guaranteed. He'll make $75 million with the signing bonus included in year one. That's the most in league history. Shereen Williams of Pro Football Talk on Spain and Fitz.
You know, they think they have their guy. Well, if you think you have a guy, you can't let him get away, and you really can't afford to franchise tag him because that's going to cost you $37 billion. And frankly, if they had put the tag on him again and not come to a long-term deal before July 15th, this was Dak's last year in Dallas. I have no doubt about that. They had to get this done, and they had to get it done before the date of the franchise tag, and they did that. So kudos to them for getting the deal done. They have their quarterback wrapped up long term. I do worry about what they can do now to build around him, and that was their concern all along, was how much money are we going to have left to build around him.
Franchise tags go to the Jets safety Marcus May. That's worth $10.5 million. Washington placing the franchise tag on right guard Brandon Scherf for a second straight year. He'll make better than $18 million this coming season. Titans trading tackle Isaiah Wilson, their first-round pick last year, to the Dolphins. Meantime, Creighton men's basketball coach Greg McDermott reinstated for all team activities. He'll be coaching the Blue Jays for the coming Big East tournament. College basketball tonight. It's on ESPN, set to get started. Top-ranked Gonzaga puts their unbeaten mark on the line against St. Mary's in the West Coast Conference semis.
Coming up Tuesday, look, while everybody continues to focus on whether or not LeBron James can catch MJ when it comes to titles, there's one chase where Jordan could actually be chasing LBJ. Trust me, you want to hear this Tuesday morning on Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin on ESPN Radio.
You're listening to Almost Entirely Sports.
Byron Pringle was born before you were.
Yeah.
And Byron Pringle was born when I was a junior in college. I just realized I could be your father. I mean, my social life would have had to have gone much, much better.
With Joshua Brisco.
Dad?
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
No better way to introduce Matt Derrick of Chiefs Digest joining us now. You can follow him on Twitter at Matt Derrick. You can read all of his work at ChiefsDigest.com. You can buy a copy of it last if you want to live in a happier time where the Chiefs went into an offseason surrounded by confetti in their own team's colors. And also, I don't know, I might see if I can get Matt to go do an Ancestry.com 23andMe sort of situation just to make sure. How's it going, Matt?
You said that's the only way to introduce me. Did you start to introduce me as your daddy?
I know. I said dad, question mark. Like I was finding a long-lost father. If you want to be introduced as daddy, you can ask Beards to work on that. I'm sure he can put together some imaging of some sort, hopefully with his own voice and not mine.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't do anything that can be turned into a drop later, so...
I mean, I can see the look in Beard's eyes. It's already too late, and I'm not even sure what either of us said. I just know that we're absolutely bleeped on this one.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, if there's any way that Beard can make it, work against this, he'll find a way.
Yeah, no, that's unquestionable. This is something from nearly a full week ago, but not quite because we haven't gotten to talk about it yet, and it's something that I've now mentioned a good half dozen times on this show. And I'll do it again. I'm perfectly happy to do it again because you're the one that brought to my attention the fact that Terry Bradshaw had a secret elbow surgery under the pseudonym Tom Brady in 1983. I want to know how you found this this research account that has 5,000 followers? And also, if you just absolutely were floored by this, because I've thought about this every single day since you tweeted it out.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely hysterical. No, I just stumbled upon it. I'm sure somebody retweeted it, which is how that Twitter account, the quirky facts or whatever it is, appeared, which I'm now following.
Yes,
so,
me too.
Got 5,332 or something.
Yep.
Yeah, add me to it. But yeah, no, I mean, it makes me. Let me just put it this way: I spend another 2 hours that day afterwards just looking through old newspapers, trying to see if there's anything crazy that I could find.
Yeah.
So.
It's so good. It's one of those things where, like, I don't, if you said, gun to my head, do we live in a simulation? I would say no. I would say if I had to bet, probably not. But if you would have asked me that same question 30 seconds after I read that story for the first time, I may have answered differently. Because it's simply impossible. It just doesn't make any sense at all.
I mean, it certainly brings in the multiverse into a possibility.
It has to.
I mean, you got to think that was the, I don't know, was the Soul Stone or something in the same place as Tom Bradshaw, Terry Bradshaw, Tom Brady, and Captain America. I mean, I don't know. I mean, something in the timeline just had to make that possible because it's just too quirky otherwise.
Have you been in on WandaVision? I don't want to get into spoiler territory regardless, but I do want to know.
I have no idea what you're talking about, so I guess not.
Okay. Well, you just...
long division. I thought you said long division.
Are you a big... So if I put a long division problem in front of you right now, do you think you could solve it?
I could possibly solve the long division problem, but I binged WandaVision over the weekend, so...
You did binge it, or you will binge it?
I did binge it.
Okay. Rudy, you're all the way through it.
Yes.
Beards, have you watched the last episode? You're all the way done?
Yep.
Okay, so we're safe. I don't want to spoil it for anybody else, but if I could
by
get
all means, turn off the radio.
Yeah, no,
when
please.
Captain America dies at the end,
I
whoa.
just thought it was crazy that it was all a long-form preview for the Snyder Cut of Justice League. I knew that the Snyder Cut was going to be 4 hours long, but the fact that the lead up to it, the prequel, was essentially like 4 or 5 hours long itself, I was really surprised by. I tweeted out basically that joke, and then Landon Fields, former 810 boy himself and frequent tweeter and show interactor, just tweeted in response with Wanda Woman, and I nearly died. I nearly passed out on the floor whenever I read the words Wonder Woman. But without spoiling it for anybody, without giving anyone a reason to turn off the radio, Matt, what did you think of WandaVision? How did you enjoy that viewing experience?
It was fine. I have quibbles. I have complaints. But you know what? I guess I got my entertainment's worth out of it. I don't feel my time was necessarily wasted. But I'm one of those fans that I see the flaws in Marvel's works that I guess I don't think a lot of other people do, because everyone else seems to think that everything in the Marvel universe makes complete and total sense and is fantastic. And I'm like, well, it's good, but some of this stuff just doesn't add up.
I don't want to give any analysis on this outside of a very strict spoiler warning that maybe we'll do as a show later on. But for the series as a whole, Beards, Rudy, me, Matt, a number out of 10. You have to boil it down to a blank out of 10 rating for the show. You just say one number. Matt.
6.
Rudy.
8.
Beards.
7.
I'm going to say 8 also. Good work, everybody. We did it.
Can I just add that on that 1 to 10 scale that The Mandalorian season 2 was like a 15?
Absolutely. Also, did you say a 1 to 10 scale?
I think you're right. I did say a 1 to 10 scale.
I should have put the whole bit on a 1 to 10 scale. Yes, The Mandalorian was extremely good. I was very pleased with The Mandalorian the whole way through. So, it's a little bit difficult to have this conversation knowing where I'm also trying to acknowledge them. It feels like trying to talk about something. Remember whenever we went to movie theaters And then if you're a good person, whenever you left the movie theater, you were kind of looking to see if anyone who isn't walking out of the theater, maybe is walking in, is near you. So you have to start talking in hushed tones and trying not to spoil the fact that Snape just killed Dumbledore and that you're trying to figure out what happened. That's a bad example because that happened in a book before it was a movie. But you get the point. I feel like we're surrounded by people who may or may not have actually seen it yet, and I don't want to spoil it for anybody.
I will. You talked about movie theaters, and I will just add this. Feel sorry for me. The last two movies that I saw in a movie theater were both The Rise of Skywalker.
Wow, and that upsets you? I don't think that's a horrible last movie to ever see in theaters because we're never going back.
Well, I mean, if we're never going back to a movie theater, that's not the movie I would say, hey, I want to go out on.
That's fair. Yeah, that's
fair.
Because
I'm angry at the movie. Although if I had been The Last Jedi, I would have probably, burned some things.
This is where I'm at right now. I don't remember which one of those is which. I know there were 3.
You're not even conversant in Friends. I don't know what to do with you.
I've never seen. I saw all the Star Wars movies, and I watched The Mandalorian finally, and I've seen the Solo, and I did fall asleep at the end of Rogue One, which I know was like the best part. Everyone says that. I was just very tired. All right, like it was just a time in my life where I wasn't sleeping very much, as opposed to now where I'm well balanced and well rested. I should have been slapping myself like Rudy does. Does that worry you, Matt, about Rudy that he does slap himself whenever he's getting tired?
Like really tired. It's not really a slap; it's a pop, just a little whack.
I was gonna say, I mean, it depends how hard, because
like it doesn't hurt.
I will do certain things when I have to stay awake. I mean, I've been known to slap myself, or pinch myself, or go out. If it's cold, I'll go outside in the cold. If it's not cold, I'll stick my head in the freezer.
Oh.
I mean,
lost me there.
All right, Walt Disney.
When you're drastic to stay awake,
I mean, I get it though. Like when you are really trying to stay awake because you have like work to do, I get it. Like at some point, you're just like, I'll do anything.
Beards, go ahead and turn Rudy's mic up loud enough here. Rudy, can you kind of into the microphone, give yourself a little face slap at your typical level? He's currently stretching out his neck.
I get the headphones are in the way. Yeah,
they got to come off. I get it.
It's probably like so. Like
go ahead and crank it here, Beards.
Just like tired. I kind of like rub the face a little bit, and I just go. Little pop.
Oh, that's like just putting on some aftershave or something.
Yeah.
That is what.
Yeah, it's just a little pop. Sometimes I'll just do one, but usually it's a pop.
If you don't make your cheek pink, you're not staying awake.
Exactly.
I mean, you got to make it pink. I mean, we're talking like almost red. I mean,
it's not physically hurting me, but like there's a
you need
shock.
It to hurt. You need it to hurt.
Yeah.
See, here's me trying to stay awake. I hope you caught that. We're not going to hear that every single time I come onto this radio station.
You guys just spent a minute talking about how you got to make your cheeks nice and pink. You got to slap those cheeks. Get your cheeks nice and red and pink and slap those cheeks to stay awake.
Yeah. When you're tired, you do what you got to do, Josh.
That was not some poorly worded words there, so that's going to come back to haunt me.
I don't think they were the best words.
It just seems... Even just the word face in there at some point, I think would have really clarified some issues that are going to come up relatively soon again.
Yeah, I blame myself.
Here, let's be honest. It doesn't matter what words we use. Beards was going to cut it out.
I mean, that's true, I guess. But it's harder to ignore whenever it's just very on the nose. Wow.
Some would say on the cheek.
I wouldn't, but I guess some would. Every once in a while I think about I don't remember who it was, some comedian, not a terribly like super uber famous one or whatever, talked about how sometimes they would go out and start to bomb on purpose to then try to see if they could win the crowd back as like this kind of masochistic comedic exercise. And sometimes I feel like we do that by accident on this show, specifically where it's like, hey, we're going to see if we can tank our credibility for 11 minutes and then see if Matt can give us some really good insight on like the Chiefs' free agency plans. But first, you have to listen to him slap his own cheeks.
Yeah, I wish I had information as good as you really deserve after listening to the last 13 minutes.
It's a hell of an exercise we've got going here. Oh, wow. All right. Well, Matt, the story that broke right before the show tonight was that the Dak Prescott contract, after only one full year and change of talking about what it would look like if it happens and is it going to happen and all of that, we finally got a little bit of news on that front. Did you find any of the structure of the Dak deal? It's a 4-year deal with the last 2 years being voided of a 6-year deal, really. So it's 4 years, but it kind of pays out over 6 to give them some salary cap help later on. No tag, no trade clauses. Did any of that, I think he's getting something like $75 million in this first year, but the cap hits lower. Did any of that hit you especially interestingly whenever you saw those details finally get here?
Part of me is a little surprised that he was still able to get that much coming off of that injury. And what we have heard about it, and I don't know how much really, it's difficult to put any stock in some of the things we've heard about the injury because nothing's been on the record. But bottom line is we still don't know, and that was a pretty gruesome injury that he suffered. Yeah. So I figured there might be a little bit more contract protection in there. But good grief, 4 years, 126 guaranteed. That's still pretty good. That's 31, 32 million guaranteed per year. And obviously, I guess it makes sense in that regard that, it's a little bit below market as far as the guarantees, but, for the full 4 years and plus the incentives that are in the deal, it looks like that, hey, it's going to be more likely, around 160 million 4 years. That's about the going rate. That's going to be the going market. So, if anything, it would just really surprised me that maybe he was able to get that good of a deal coming off the injury.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? The reality of it is that this is pretty much what the quarterback contracts are going to have to look like for a while.
Schefter also tweeted right at the beginning as we were starting this segment, said one league source on the Dak Prescott deal. You know what this is? This is Jerry Jones tipping off the extraordinary TV deal that's coming. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I could certainly see that because at least what we've heard from the structure of the deal, there's going to be some. Because the cap hit this year for Prescott's $22 million. That's pretty low actually for a quarterback, and then it's going to go up substantially. That would be consistent with what we're hearing as far as the TV deal. So, yeah, I don't think there's any doubt that the salary cap is going to go up significantly in the next couple of seasons. Maybe not this year, but I think certainly in the next few seasons we're going to start seeing some huge increases in the cap, and yeah, that probably fits with that.
We are getting closer to the league tampering period, the legal tampering period, and all of that as free agency is nearly here. I would say we're within striking distance, and actually, I don't know. I don't think we know for sure yet one way or another. I don't think we know if we're going to be able to talk to you next Monday or not because we do have all of this college basketball over here on Sports Radio 810 and also ESPN Kansas City over the next couple of weeks and really over the course of the next month. Tons of college basketball. But if we talk to you again before all of that starts popping off or not, at this point, does anything intrigue you? Has anything moved the needle for you at all in the last week or so in terms of, we heard from Brett Veach last Monday. We talked to you about that at the time. Anything since then or anything else in terms of the NFL market that's caught your ear so far?
Not really. And some of it is that here we are on, Monday night. Tomorrow is the deadline, supposedly, for franchise tag.
Yeah.
And we still don't know what the salary cap is for next season yet.
Yeah.
And, that to me is just, it's absolutely freezing a lot of things. Yeah. You've seen some stuff get done. The J.J. Watt deal got done, which, I kind of surprised me that maybe it got done that quickly. But other than that, there's an absolute freeze on everything. And even to a degree on the renegotiations. We've seen, guys start to get released and cut. There's going to be more. And there are some people who will tell you that they think it's going to be a bloodletting next week with the number of guys to get cut. Some other people say that, hey, maybe it won't be that drastic. we'll wait and see. I mean, I'm thinking it's probably going to be somewhere in the middle, maybe not as bad as we think, but maybe worse than in past seasons. But that's really, at this point, what we're waiting on, because right now the Chiefs, no matter what the salary cap is, they're over it. And, they've got, now 9 days to figure out a way to get under whatever that cap's going to be. I know they've been working at it. But there's going to have to be a lot of activity over the next, really 8.5 days at this point for them to get ready for the new league year.
And so, I mean, it seems likely at this point, and please, if you think any of this is not likely, I'd love to know that and to know why, but it seems relatively likely at this point that the Chiefs will be able to move some Mahomes money around relatively effortlessly, and that a Tyrann Mathieu extension would make a lot of sense and also could move some money back. And acknowledging, those TV deals we mentioned a second ago, if the cap is really, we thought the cap was going to explode this year once upon a time. I remember talking about it about a year ago and saying that the cap this year could go up $40 million or something. And then obviously, the pandemic. But if they are not worried about the cap in years to come, and you obviously have to stay under that cap here this offseason, moving some money down the road doesn't really bother me at this point. Do you think that that's the mindset there? Are there any other moves that you think are relatively obvious? We got the updated Eric Fisher timeline from Brett Veach last week, but his money would still be more mobile than most of the big hits on the roster at this point as well.
Yeah, I mean, to a degree, the Mahomes money is interesting because most of the money he's making next year is in roster bonus. So that's really what you're moving around. Yeah, you could. It's built up that you could convert that into to basically a restructure bonus and spread it out over the length of the contract. So, yeah, you could save a chunk of money there, get him some money now, which is part of the plan anyway. So, yeah, I would certainly expect that. Tyrann Mathieu, I mean, I would be absolutely stunned if an extension wasn't done before the beginning of the new league year, just because I think both sides want to get it done. And it would move some money around significantly. You're probably getting into a couple of other contracts. Frank Clark will probably get done, I would guess. And then the question to me is, the contract for your tackles. I mean, those are the other two that I think would be most likely to get done now. I could certainly see it being, any of these deals you could do afterwards, but as many as you can get done right now is going to free up money for free agency. And you're right. I mean, if the sense is that the salary cap is going to go up significantly, to a degree, you can give out and convert a lot of money into some bonus money this year, even structure it into guaranteed bonus money in the future if you want to get some guys, if guys are willing to take some deferred money. And you can free up a ton of cap room right now and just blow out the cap in the future years and just know that it's not going to matter.
Yeah.
So, I mean, now the reality of it is that eventually the inflation is going to catch up with you. But I could certainly see some, cap-friendly type deals done where you just move some money around, you push it down for some of those big contracts you've got. But those, to me, are all the most likely. I mean, could we see some free agent deals done right out of the blocks, too? Yeah. I mean, I could see them retaining some of their guys because, some of the ones that they want to get done would not be big dollar amounts.
Right.
But I still would be stunned to see the Chiefs go out and spend a lot of money in free agency this year. I think it's all about really kind of just structuring them for the future and knowing that, hey, they're going to be players in the years to come.
I think that if the question that I'm going to ask, this is a pretty good way of asking a question, is to give you the out for why it's a bad question ahead of time. I think this question may have a flaw to it, and maybe it's impossible if you do think that they're going to be relatively under the radar in most regards in terms of, the contracts they'll dole out and everything. But is there a position at this point that you think, you know what, we've talked about the offensive line 100,000 times over, but I wonder if they're going to maybe spend a little more on this position group that hasn't gotten nearly as much conversation at this point. Do you think that spot exists, or is it going to be a bunch of offensive linemen, retain your guys, and then move on to the draft?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest problem I see is that, I think there are going to be some bargains in free agencies, particularly at guard in the interior line, because that just seems where there's a lot of guys and, that would be on their third or fourth contracts.
Yeah.
The market is going to dramatically, the supply is going to dramatically outstretch the demand. So the price is going to be down. So I think there's some bargains to be had there. Problem is that, where the Chiefs really need to spend some money potentially to bring in some help is at tackle. And, and the problem at tackle is just that the market is so thin. I mean, the kind of players that would be worth maybe bringing in for 1 year at $8 million really aren't there. Because for the most part, if teams have a tackle that they really like, left or right, they try and tie him up in whatever way they can. And, and there's some guys out there, but if you want, if you're going to bring in a tackle this year that you think can play left tackle and start for your team next year, you're going to pay probably $15 million plus.
Yeah.
And do the Chiefs have that money to go out there? I don't know that that's in the budget. So, if anything, I think that if they want to bring in someone with experience playing left tackle that can be someone to provide depth or start for this team, it's going to be something that they have to overpay. And that's not what you ever want to have to do in free agency.
I think your point about the difference between guard and tackle, though, is a really important one that we've talked about a little bit around here. Where like the Chargers are shopping Trey Turner, and every 2 days it seems like there's some veteran guard that is in the last year of his previously 3 or 4 year deal that's all a huge inflated cap hit. I mean, Kelechi Osemele was widely regarded as maybe the Chiefs' best offensive lineman through the first 3 games, whatever it was. And then obviously he got hurt. Well, that dude just showed up out of nowhere. I mean, Nick Allegretti stepped in and played pretty well as a super late round pick that had a year on the bench and then stepped in, playing again pretty well. Andrew Wiley, for his flaws, was fine at guard this year. Like, it really does seem like the depth at guard is the bargains at guard are easier to find. Even starters at guard are easier to find, which at this point, I just think that that's going to be maybe the most sort of guiding tendency in terms of how they address the offensive line this year, where they say, listen, I don't know how you feel about center, Matt. I'm curious, but my thought is, say we're gonna have Austin Ryder there because changing the guy in the middle of the offensive line doesn't seem like a great idea unless you know it's going to be an upgrade. We're going to find the bargains. We're going to patch some holes at guard. And then we're going to continue to be a team that pays for tackle or invests highly in tackle because those are the bookends that we put everything else in between. That I think has at least been pretty clearly the strategy for these last couple of years. Do you think that's going to be a continued trend? Or do you think that there's a chance that maybe having as many moving parts as they do across the line this offseason, that maybe they'd be in a place where they'd be willing to try something different?
Yeah, I think it's really interesting because I think there's a lot of different scenarios that could play out there. Because center is a position that the Chiefs, frankly, could go a lot of different directions. I mean, they brought in Daniel Kilgore last season. He's also a free agent, just like Austin Ryder is. So, I mean, if you want to spend your free agent dollars, you actually have a couple of options on your own squad. And part of their vision with Nick Allegretti all along was that he was a guy that, could play guard or center and maybe even eventually blossom into a future starting center for you. So, if you want to save money, I mean, there's an option. I mean, you've got a potential starting center. I mean, based on what Allegretti did this year, I think you have to be reasonably optimistic that he could move to center and deliver decently for you. I mean, if that's what you want to do and you feel like a Lucas Niang could step in and start for you at guard, and now you got all your money that you can free up and even a draft pick and spend it on tackle, I mean, you can do that. But like you said, I mean, you could also, just retain your guys, re-sign Austin Ryder. You like what you got with Allegretti. Maybe you do kick the tires on some of these bargains that are going to be out there at guard because I think you're going to be able to get borderline Pro Bowl caliber play from some of these free agent guards at a really decent price. Yeah. And remember too, I mean, we're talking about the TV money coming in. The problem is that nobody has cap room this year. I mean, because of just the way that the cap is going to be shrunk. So, hey, there are going to be teams out there that are going to sign some squirrely deals where maybe the player doesn't get any money now, but there's a lot of money guaranteed in the future. And you know what? The Chiefs could get out some of those kind of deals. I mean, they could be in the market that way. Now, there are some kind of weird rules about, escalation and everything that might play, a little fly in the ointment there about how you can structure deals. But, I mean, teams could do that. I mean, they could certainly structure them in a way that all the money's in the future and they're not paying by a lot right now. And there might be some guys, they're willing to bet on themselves and say, there's going to be a ton of money available next year. Give me 1 year of an approve-it deal for a team that's a playoff caliber, Super Bowl caliber team. I go out there, I have a big year, I can get a lot of money next year. Yeah. I think you're going to probably see a little bit of those out there.
This might be setting myself up for easy dunk. If it's an alley-oop, you feel free to take it. But how will you remember the Anthony Sherman era as we have truly lost an icon as he is retired?
I will always remember Anthony Sherman through your eyes staring at his singlet. I mean, just you and that look of pure joy on your face.
It was not joy. It was a grimace for where my life had led me.
I've slapped yourself a few times in that moment, I imagine.
There was no grimace that I saw in that. That was bewilderment. That was amazement. That was you looked like a child, watching I don't know what for the first time. Take your pick, but it was like you saw God.
I might have. I think you know what I do think. I think I saw the word God because I think there's a chance that singlet said "God bless America" on it, if memory serves.
I mean, give the man some credit. I mean, he went out on a helicopter. He arrived at training camp in a race car one year. Yeah. He did it in a singlet. I mean, he's done it in overalls with no shirt on. And I'm always going to think of you when I think of Anthony Sherman.
Yep. I'm just glad that our senses of style are so similar. So that will be something that will forever connect us both. That the shirtless overall look. It does bother me a little bit that that's kind of the Anthony Sherman around here and not the Josh Brisco, but I'll take what I can get at the very least. Other very important news update is right now, can you with extreme 100% confidence tell me the name of Arrowhead Stadium, the official name of Arrowhead Stadium?
It is GEHA Field at Arrowhead Stadium.
I think that is correct. Go ahead.
That's incorrect. It's still Arrowhead Stadium.
And Rudy, how would you title it?
Yeah, Gayha Field at Arrowhead Stadium.
We do have 3 different answers among the 4 of us now.
I mean, mine's right, so.
Do you anticipate this changing your day-to-day life in a tremendous way, Matt?
No. I think we're all, those of us who have to depend on print for a living, we're accepting the possibility that, based on these squirrely standards of our existence and our business, that we'll have to say GEHA Field, type it at Arrowhead Stadium on first reference. But nobody's going to ever call it that. Yeah. It's always going to be Arrowhead Stadium, and I'll probably just get lazy and just call it Arrowhead Stadium anyway in my copy. So,
were you surprised at all that there was finally a naming rights deal done? Because I mean, you had noted this. I think it was just in a series of tweets, but I mean, this is something that the Chiefs have been trying to figure out for a while now. That like this naming rights deal thing has been on the table for I think nearly a decade or maybe more than that.
Well, they got the rights to sell them from the county with the new lease when it was written in 2006.
Wow.
But, they really didn't start to, really try and take advantage of it or sell it anyway until Mark Donovan arrived, which Donovan came in 2010? So, I mean, it's really has been about 10 years since they've been trying to sell it. And I know from talking to Mark Donovan over the, at least since I've covered the team in 2016, they were pretty adamant that, hey, we could have done this a long time ago, that there were companies who were interested in it, but everybody wanted to have the stadium name. And they were fairly insistent that Arrowhead still had to be part of the stadium name. So, I mean, that's what they could have gotten more. I mean, there were certainly companies in the past that would have paid them a lot more money. Hey, you know what? There's a pretty good chance that if they had, frankly, I mean, they would have been in a situation like the Broncos are in, where I have no idea what the current name of that stadium is.
Yep.
Because they sold it to a company that went bankrupt and changed names 18 times and then bounced the rights around. I mean, and the Chiefs could certainly have done the same thing. I mean, stadium might not be the same name as the company that wanted it 8 years ago. Yeah. So, they seem like they found a partner that they like. I mean, this has been kind of the worst-kept secret, I think, in KFC the last couple of years, that once GEHA came in as a partner in 2018, that this was the, plan, that if everything went well, then they liked each other, that was going to happen. So I don't know. We don't know the terms of the deal. I don't think it's a ton of money, but hey, any little bit of money helps. And remember, the Chiefs keep all of that. So at least that's what we'll call it for the next 10 years and see what happens after that.
Whatever it takes to pay Patrick Mahomes Field at Arrowhead Stadium is officially how I'm planning on referring to it for as long as I need to. Because
I'm sure that's what they'll call it when they build this thing out in, I don't know, Western Wyandotte or something, 2032.
And in fact, if they just called it Patrick Mahomes Field at Arrowhead Stadium while he's still playing as like a part of his contract, I would be very much on board with that as well. Even if he ends his career in Arizona or something.
Basically like Bill Snyder Family Stadium or whatever they call it.
That's exactly right. Yeah, I just name the whole deal after Patrick Mahomes, and everybody will be all right.
Good idea. Might as well run it as a flagpole.
I mean, listen, me not even asking anything close to a question and me giving a genuinely terrible, uninspired idea and you still trying to throw me a little floaty at that point as I was drowning in my own lack of question is why you're such a good teammate, Matt.
I'm just glad you said floaty and not something else, because that could take us really in this thing in a bad way, which I just did, I think.
Here's the thing. Beards looks like he knows what you meant. I don't even know if I knew what you were saying. At this point, it may as well have just been anvil, and it would not have sunk the segment lower than where we ended up at the front end, I think. And that, in its own way, is fitting. We had a nice parabola of credibility over the course of this segment.
Heck of a bell curve segment that we just did here. So
it really was. Do you think Le'Veon Bell's going to be back?
That's a great question.
No, it's not. Thank you, Matt. It's a terrible question. It's a terrible question. I'm ashamed of myself. We'll talk to you again soon.
I can say that you were the first person to ask me that.
That's true. That's true. Yes, I'm the first person on a microphone in Kansas City, I think, to genuinely ask as a question, do you think Le'Veon Bell's going to be back? Thank you, Matt. Sorry for wasting your time tonight.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Matt Derrick of Chiefs Digest. Follow him on Twitter at Matt Derrick. Read all of his work at ChiefsDigest.com, and you can check out At Last, the Kansas City Chiefs' unforgettable 2019 championship season with a foreword by Kevin Harlan at triumphbooks.com/ChiefsWin. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll disappoint you in some other unique and on-brand way next.
Did you know you can listen to Almost Entirely Sports anywhere, anytime? Well, you can. Just search for Almost Entirely Sports wherever you get your podcasts.
Small business owners don't have the patience for nonsense, especially when it comes to their internet provider. They want the best services for the best price. Simply put, that's Spectrum Business. They give you great value, zero nonsense. Just call 833-919-2121. You'll get fast, reliable internet and phone with no contracts and no hidden fees, all for a price that could cut your bill in half. Spectrum Business. Call today, 833-919-2121.
I've actually had customers halfway through showing them merchandise and saying, I guess I don't need to spend that much, do I?
Diamonds Direct 20-year jewelry professional and designer Enrique Chavez sees it every day. Customers amazed at how far their budgets will go.
Or on the other hand, a guy says, I'm not going to compromise, so let me go ahead and stretch my budget a bit. I never heard that anywhere else I worked.
And with Diamonds Direct's huge selection, you never have to compromise like you do at other places.
They usually are pushed in most stores to a specific color and clarity, whereas in our store we have such a vast amount of diamonds for them to look at. They're astonished.
So shop around Kansas City. But we promise you won't find a better value and lower prices than Diamonds Direct.
So they're getting more for their money than they can anywhere else in the city.
Diamonds Direct, Kansas City's direct diamond importer.
A wow experience. It's just utterly amazing.
At 119th and Row.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
I'm attorney Mike DePasquale. After a car wreck, the last thing you want to do is trust the insurance company. These insurance companies try to rip off good people every single day. My law firm won't let you get ripped off. We'll fight to get you all the money you deserve, and you don't pay us a dime unless we win your case. If you've been hurt, call me. I've got this.
Mike's got this. All you need to know, 816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Honey, what should we do for dinner tonight?
I don't know. What do you want to do? I want to support somewhere local.
Have you heard?
Heard what?
Red Door Wood-Fired Grill has $5 classic burgers on Monday, and my buddy from work told me on Thursday they have the best jalapeno marinated fried chicken in all of Kansas City.
Get in.
Whether it be a juicy burger or chicken fried to perfection, there's something for everyone at Kansas City's favorite little upscale neighborhood joint, Red Door Wood-Fired Grill. What are you waiting for, KC? Get in here.
Spring training isn't just for baseball players. You can lose those pandemic pounds and get into shape before the warmer weather, since it only takes 40 days to lose a contractually guaranteed 20 to 40 plus pounds with NJ Diet. NJ Diet's program starts with bioenergetically personalized supplements based on your hair, saliva, and blood work. Then, NJ Diet uses DNA testing to create your ideal diet and workout regimen to help you keep it off. Don't want to do it alone? NJ Diet is with you every step of the way. You will be fully monitored by their certified staff to make sure you are burning fat and not just losing water. You'll also get the doctor's personal email and phone number. NJ Diet offers live online video consultations, and they have a location close by, right off 435 by the corner of College and Metcalf. Call 855-5-NJ-DIET. That's 855-5-NJ-DIET. Or go to njdiet.com and lose the weight for good. That's njdiet.com.
Golfers, tee it up this year at Edwin Watts Golf Shops with the hottest new arrivals from Callaway, featuring the new Apex 21 irons with tungsten energy core, the first forged iron designed with artificial intelligence for faster ball speeds. Swing by Edwin Watts Golf Shops and get custom fit on the new Apex, Apex Pro, and Apex DCB today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee, and shop us online at worldwidegolfshops.com.
You're listening to Almost Entirely Sports.
Rudy Salazar of Sports Radio 810 WHB. If J.J. Watt had retired 4 years ago, would he have been a Hall of Famer at that point?
Yes.
You're an idiot! There's no way you would have been a Hall of Famer if you would have retired 4 years ago! You're a fool! You're a fool! There's no chance! If he would have retired 3 years ago, he would have been!
With Joshua Brisco.
Sports debate. Jazz hands.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Gotta give the shout outs to Twitch whenever we see. You can watch the show live on the Sports Radio 810 WHB Facebook page, our YouTube channel, and our Twitch channel, which is by far the youngest of any of those streams and has really been a lot of fun as we've gotten it off the ground here in 2021. So shout out to Caden, who said, thought I'd better subscribe. Shout out to Beards for helping me get an A on my paper several years ago. Beards, you want to provide the necessary context on that? And also, as they say on Twitch, Caden, thanks for the sub.
That was on the ESPN Kansas City days. I think we had just started doing video streaming or whatever, and Caden had messaged me, I think on Twitter, and was wanting to do a paper about how we were using video and all that stuff for a school assignment that he was doing. So we called, or I gave him my number and he called, and we had a talk one day about it, and it was fun. So I literally had thought about that a week or two ago, so it was funny to see him pop up there.
Look at us now. Now we're on Twitch. Big boy stuff.
Now we're using not webcams that we bought ourselves.
Yeah, we got a switcher.
And my very old mixer.
I forgot we were running that through...
out of my old laptop.
Basically a mixer I think that you stole from a church AV department. It just feels like that had to come out of...
No, that was mine. I hadn't touched it in a few years, but it was mine.
Because you stole it from a church AV department.
It definitely had the vibe of this came from
it wasn't a great one.
A derelict church several years ago. Anyway, Caden says it looks better. Thank you, Caden. If you do want to support what we're doing in terms of the video stream and everything, and by the way, I can say pretty confidently, I think, if the reach continues to grow, we'll continue to invest in it more specifically. But the Twitch channel is twitch.tv/sportsradio810. You can also, if you have Amazon Prime, you get, I think it's a free subscription every month.
You do.
But it's also still good you don't pay for it extra, but it's good for us. I don't know.
There's a kickback in there somewhere.
I don't really know how it works.
Exactly how it works, but it's a good thing.
Yeah, it's good. It's good for us. So if you've got that, or if you want to just subscribe for a few bucks a month, you can do that and support the show through the Twitch, or you can just watch it there and comment and look lustfully at the emotes that you're not allowed to use because you haven't paid for them. I would like to make more of the emotes free relatively soon, but I just think that ends up being a Twitch thing. But anyway, it's been great. Caden just gifted a sub also. Look at that. Thanks, everybody. All sorts of good stuff. Now Bartman's a sub because Caden gifted one. It's just warms my little heart. Warms my cold, dark, shriveled up little heart.
Nice. Very nice.
It warms my heart in the way that like you throw like something into the microwave and it's still cold in the middle, but the outside is scalding.
Mm-hmm.
Warms my heart like that. Anywho. I don't know if I've got anything incredibly important to add on the Dak Prescott contract situation, but I did have a couple of tweets that I thought were really interesting just to put everything within context. Beards, you got the crazy eyes that you usually...
I had a stat. I had a Dak Prescott stat. So...
What's the word?
Stat. There we go. I got it that time.
Okay.
Got that scat?
It was what, $126 million guaranteed on this new deal?
Yes.
For his career, Tony Romo made $125 million from the Cowboys. I think I saw that Aikman was like at $55 million as well.
Talk to you whenever Troy Aikman has 33% of Dak Prescott's career earnings.
Yeah, Gil Brandt tweeted out in 14
That's where I
years
saw it from.
with the Cowboys, Tony Romo earned $125 million. Dak just got $126 guaranteed. Troy Aikman in 12 seasons, $55 million.
This is from February this year. CBS in February extended its contract with Romo, reportedly offering him $17 million annually.
Dang.
So, tell you what, if you can make, what's the average annual value going to be for Dak? Something in the over the 4 years and not the 6 years. I think it's in
4 for 40, right? 4 for 160.
Something about that. That seems about right.
I think it's 4 for 160.
I think if you could make half as much money, but you didn't get hit ever, I feel like that might not be a worse job. So good on Tony Romo, continuing to make that paper.
For sure.
Here's something, a couple tweets from Charles Robinson of Yahoo that I thought was interesting. The cash flow for Prescott inside 15 months, dating back to his last franchise tag, is a wild $106 million. Because he's getting 70-some this year, and he was playing on the tag last year. Crazy. He will also have a 3-year cash flow that will be $29.1 million more than the first 3 years of the Mahomes extension. Wild part of this deal, if all goes as planned, the Cowboys and Prescott will be back at the negotiating table for his next extension in 3 years when TV and gambling money kicks in. That means this deal may have put Prescott on course to be the highest earning player in NFL history. This is the thing that Mike Garafolo of NFL Network tweeted this out. You might go, wait a second. Patrick Mahomes is going to make like $500 million, right? Yes. Here's from Garafolo. Dak Prescott is now slated to be a free agent after the 2024 season, at which point Patrick Mahomes will have 8 years left on his contract. It's what Mahomes wanted, and he's got big paydays on the way, but man, that makes life so much easier for the Chiefs. I really think that most of the time you talk about something being a win-win or like a deal's actually great for both sides, it's a little bit, I don't say it's disingenuous, but usually, a good compromise, everyone's unhappy. Usually I think there really is at least one side that's happier, that it's better for. And in this case, it's probably better for the Chiefs than Patrick Mahomes, the 10-year, 504 or 503, whatever, $1 million extension. The difference, though, is that Patrick Mahomes is almost certainly going to make $500 million from the Kansas City Chiefs over a decade. And that's not the most, that is not setting his ceiling at the absolute highest spot that it could have been sat at. Like, he could have, if Mahomes wanted to, he could have just said, I'll take a series of LeBron deals where I just would like a 2-year deal, but one of those years is a me option. He could have done that, and every year had some enormous negotiating leverage because he's always one tick away from being a franchise tag guy or whatever. They could have done something in that vein that would have been wild, and he would have probably ended up making more money. But with the way this deal is set up, he's almost certainly going to end up being making tens of millions of dollars every year for a decade, and there really is actual value to that. We saw with Dak. I mean, if that ankle, Matt mentioned, the Dak ankle injury seemed like it really was going to put things in more jeopardy than it apparently ultimately did. If that injury is if that injury just has an Alex Smith complication, right? If that ankle gets infected after the surgery, now all of that is in jeopardy. For Mahomes, the way those rolling guarantees are going to move, the next year of his deal basically gets guaranteed every year. So it's the year currently and the next year are guaranteed. So you've always got one hell of a golden parachute of sorts if Mahomes ever had a terrible injury situation or if his play dropped off in 6 years or something. And in a way that really, that is worth even more than the money that it is. There's extra value added because Patrick Mahomes knows that he's going to be making this much money over the course of his deal. And it's great for the Chiefs because there's some certainty in place, and they're no longer budgeting out for the mystery numbers of Mahomes' contract over the next decade. They know what the options would be, and it's either, in its current form, or what if we convert these bonuses, or we convert this salary into bonuses and spread the cap hit out. They can do all of that math with some certainty, as opposed to, well, is he going to get $5 million per year more expensive if we win the Super Bowl again? No, you know the numbers you're working with, and you're going to have that certainty at least for a good chunk of time, even if you end up renegotiating in a more severe way 4 or 5 years down the road. Let's take a break. Whenever we come back, I don't know, something else. We'll talk to Scott Chasen in 10 minutes whenever we come back. You know what? I do know what we're going to talk about. Maybe we'll get to Bobby Witt Jr. next.
Take the show with you wherever you go. Listen live on the Sports Radio 810 mobile app and 810WHB.com.
Right now, it's more important than ever to support local businesses. And 23rd Street Brewery in Lawrence is open and ready to take care of you. Make 23rd Street Brewery part of your KU game day experience, whether you watch the game there or grab curbside pickup for your tailgates or watch parties.
But not just game days. 23rd Street Brewery is great any day of the week, and when the weather's nice, you can take advantage of their heaters on the patio. 23rd Street Brewery is open daily from 11:30 to 9 for dine-in, carry-out, curbside pickup, and can even help with your catering needs.
So support local and visit a Lawrence favorite, 23rd Street Brewery.
The Open Season Sportsman's Expo Series is headed to the Overland Park Convention Center Friday, March 12th through Sunday, March 14th. The Kansas City Open Season Sportsman's Expo will be filled with the latest products, gear, and equipment for hunting, fishing, and outdoor enthusiasts. Attendees can meet industry insiders and celebrities, attend educational seminars and demonstrations, test out the newest products, shop for special show deals, and bring their deer to have it scored in the Trophy Deer Contest. For information and tickets, visit OpenSeasonSportsman'sExpo.com.
March Madness is on its way. Sports Radio 810 is your exclusive home of Championship Week, with live coverage from downtown at T-Mobile Center of the Big 12 Championship, plus live championship games from around the country, including the SEC, Pac-12, Big East, and the ACC. And we'll wrap it up with Selection Sunday and our exclusive bracket special. Your home for March Madness. Sports Radio 810, WHB.
Hi, I'm Fred Ramsey.
And I'm Mark Tobin. Hey, folks, if you're not busy Saturday mornings from 6 to 7 a.m., well, I hope you'll join us for the Midwest Outdoors, brought to you by Reed Chevrolet St. Joe.
Join us and our expert guests, and we'll be talking about hunting and fishing, dog training. We'll give you tips, pass along stories, and most important, share some laughs along the way.
That's right. We cover it all, from crappie to waterfowl, and we'll tell you how to cook it, too.
The Midwest Outdoors, brought to you by Reed Chevrolet, Saturday morning, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
You know Aldi is all about saving you money, but they care beyond the carts, too. That's why Aldi is partnering with Sports Radio 810 WHB to help cram the van with donations for the Salvation Army and local food banks. Stop by your Lee Summit Aldi on Wednesday, March 10th from 1:30 to 6. Pick up some items and help us cram the van out front for those in need. Mark your calendars and cram the van. Wednesday, March 10th at Aldi. Together, let's make a difference. Aldi. Shop differently.
During these challenging times, everyone is talking about the Freedom Loan exclusive at A1 Mortgage. After the financial crash of 2008, we knew there had to be a better and smarter way to finance your home. The Freedom Loan. It will take years off your mortgage, saving you thousands in interest. Need cash? No problem. Need a break on payments? No problem. The Freedom Loan may be the last loan you ever need. The managers of A1 Mortgage could have any loan they want, and they chose the Freedom Loan. Why wait? Start saving thousands and getting your freedom back today. Call 816-822-8888. That's 822-8888. Or apply at mya1mortgage.com.
A1 Mortgage, making your dreams a reality is what we do.
A1 Mortgage Group, LLC, a Kansas licensed mortgage company. License number MC0001649, Missouri license number 16-1556, NMLS number 268370. Terms and conditions apply, subject to change without notice.
What you doing? Designing my new 2021 Nissan Kicks online in the Kicks Color Studio. I give each a special name. This one's electric blue, orange, red, white. I call it the gumball machine. You think it's me?
I feel like you're more of a red velvet guy.
Limitless possibilities. With over 100 million available color combinations and Bose Personal Plus system in the boldly new 2021 Nissan Kicks. Bose is a registered trademark of the Bose Corporation. Color combinations include interior and exterior colors. Customization is an available feature subject to availability at participating Nissan dealers. See dealer for details.
You're listening to Almost Entirely Sports.
Unbutton, unbutton, unbutton. Zip.
With Joshua Brisco. On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
You're right, Beards. Beard said before the liners, this one is a new liner and it's dumb, but it's good, like this show. And it was at least dumb.
I think I said fun. I didn't say good. I said fun.
Nah, that's fair.
Yeah, fun's a strong word.
Back to the Twitch, because people are just giving away goodness right now. Thanks to, I believe we decided Petonius or maybe Patton, I don't know, giving out he's subscribed, they are subscribed, tier 1, and One Gunner Down giving out 2 community subs that has apparently started a hype train. And I don't know what that means, because despite being on Twitch, I occasionally feel like an old person.
So hype train is essentially when people they subscribe, they give out gifts, or they use bits, and if you advance the levels, like each stream is different, right? To where like, hey, if you get through level 5, which I believe is the highest level, then like we'll do blank. Get through level 4, we'll do blank. You know, like another way to like reward.
People are just throwing money at this show, baby. That's what I need to know.
And you can unlock like Twitch emotes.
Oh, really?
Not like our emotes, but like other, like Twitch has official ones for hype trains.
Well, thank you to everyone who is just, again,
yeah.
As we are out here just doing our dance for you, just throwing dollar bills at us. We appreciate it very much. You heard me. I meant what I said, and I said what I meant. We will take a break. Whenever we come back, we're going to make a very awkward transition to talking about all the stuff that's going on at KU right now. So, that's next.
You are listening to Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Do you follow Sports Radio 810 on social media? This is your reminder to give us a follow and hit that subscribe button on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram at Sports Radio 810. Follow along for breaking news as it happens, live coverage of press conferences, analysis and reporting from top local and national experts, fan videos, and on-the-ground coverage of your favorite local teams, as well as the best sporting events and athletes in the country. Turn on your notifications so that you never miss a beat, and follow the leader at Sports Radio 810.
They say that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Sometimes the situation is just plain ugly. Divorce, repairs, overwhelmed, taxes. If you're in an ugly house or an ugly situation, call the Ugly House guys today. 1-800-44-BUYER or WeBuyUglyHouses.com. We can help you fix that ugly situation and turn it into beautiful cash. That's 1-800-44-BUYER or WeBuyUglyHouses.com. We're the real Ugly House guys.
Spring is coming, so plan now to keep those bugs out with Augustine Exterminators. Now is the time to establish and or maintain a barrier around your house. Don't let it break down. At Augustine Exterminators, they have you covered. Augustine is a family-owned local business since 1966. All of their techs are certified in both Missouri and Kansas. In fact, check out their amazing reviews from all their KC area customers. They're also a Quality Pro and Green Pro company. Augustine also does carpet, rug, air duct, and tile cleaning. They have an excellent referral program as well. Refer a new customer, and you and they get $25 off their next service. That's right. Refer a friend, and you both get $25 off your next service. Shop and buy local with Augustine Exterminators. Call Augustine Exterminators today at 913-359-8627 or go online at AugustineExterminators.com. And Augustine is looking for qualified technicians. Call today at 913-359-8627. 913-359-8627.
Save on your next project with 11% off everything. Now at Menards. DuraClean is an interior paint and primer in one that offers a washable, scrubbable, and stain-resistant finish. Pick up a gallon of flat paint today for only $19.98 after 11% rebate. Save with 11% off everything. Now at Menards. Good through Saturday, March 13th. Savings are a mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
The NAIA Men's Basketball National Championship is just around the corner on March 18th through the 23rd downtown at Municipal Auditorium. 15 games over the course of 5 days as we crown the 83rd NAIA Men's Basketball National Champion. Catch all the excitement as single-day tickets start at just $20. For ticket and championship information, go to NAIAHoops.com today. The NAIA Men's Basketball National Championship, a Kansas City tradition.
Number 1 all day, every day. Kansas City's hometown radio station. 20 years and counting. Sports Radio 810. WHB, Kansas City.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Jim Baswell. Dak in Dallas for 4 more years. The franchise quarterback agreeing to a $160 million deal with $126 million guaranteed. He'll get a $66 million signing bonus, $75 million all told in year one. That's a league record. ESPN Cowboys reporter Todd Archer.
Right now, I'm surprised that it got done because I talked to a couple people in the organization, middle of the afternoon out here in Dallas, and it didn't get the sense that they would have something done tonight, but there seemed to be a sense of optimism growing that they were working towards something that they hadn't been working on since 2019. And ultimately, if you look at what the numbers that Adam Schefter has reported, 4 years, $160 million, $126 million guaranteed, $66 million signing bonus, you're looking at this as from Prescott's perspective, this is a win for him. And then on the Cowboys, well, they got a 6-year deal that voids to 4, and they'll have some cap management that they can work through the first 2 years to make it better for them to keep players and add players in free agency.
And the deal also includes a no-trade, no-tag clause as well. Deadline to franchise players 4 Eastern tomorrow. The Jets do so with safety Marcus May. Washington franchising guard Brandon Scherf for a second straight year. He'll make better than $18 million. College basketball at the break. Top-ranked Gonzaga leads St. Mary's 44-26 as they look to stay unbeaten. Drew Timme has 15 for the nation's top-ranked team. 2 more teams punch their ticket to the big dance. Appalachian State wins the Sun Belt over Georgia State. UNC Greensboro best Mercer for the Southern.
It's Greeny. Dallas and Dak have a deal. How did they get it done? And what does it mean for the Cowboys and the rest of the league? We're talking about it Tuesday. It's Greeny, starting 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio and ESPN+.
You're listening to Almost Entirely Sports.
If I just saw SpongeBob walking down the street, if I saw SpongeBob and Scott walking down the street, I would give each of them $25. I might give them both $50.
I'd just give them 50 and be like, hey, split it as you see fit.
With Joshua Brisco.
I think it's a 30-20 split in favor of SpongeBob.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think Scott would admit to that.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
To give us just a little bit of a bumper between Scott and SpongeBob and the very serious stories that are currently surrounding KU athletics, specifically KU football, I'm going to remind you that we've got all sorts of, pretty much at this point, pretty much every major conference championship game, including the Big 12 tournament, here on Sports Radio 810 WHB and over on ESPN Kansas City 1510 AM 94.5 FM over the next week or so. The Big 12 tournament, semifinals and championship game here, along with the SEC tournament, ACC tournament, Big 10 championship game, Pac-12 championship, American championship, Big East championship. We're your home for all sorts of college basketball championship games here on Sports Radio 810 and ESPN Kansas City. We may get to a little bit of what you could expect from KU basketball in the time to come with Scott Chasen right now here of Fog.net. You can follow him on Twitter at ChasenScott. But obviously that's not the biggest story around KU at this time. Scott, probably a pretty busy moment for you right now, I'd imagine, yeah?
Yeah, been a pretty busy week, or however long it's been. I guess it's been more than that. Yeah, I mean, it's a really interesting time just around KU football, because I think Obviously there are some pretty serious allegations against Les Miles, should be taken seriously, should obviously be investigated out, not only with what's come out of LSU, but obviously what's come out of Kansas too, and a lot of unacceptable stuff and a lot of stuff too that I think has developed a lot faster than, maybe it would in past years. I think the end result of what's going to take place with Les Miles is, hopefully you would hope the end result that, what would take place with any coach anywhere who's, alleged to be involved in those kinds of things. And yet it's been really interesting how quickly a lot of this has come about too, because it really feels like a lot has happened in such a short amount of time.
Yeah, it really does. I think that's a good call, that it's we went from, because there was the first sort of blip on the radar at this point now, a little over a week ago, I think, about there being some sort of settlement with a student worker at LSU, and you're right now. I mean, we're at this point now where there. I mean, Seren tweeted earlier today that he said this on the program at, I think, around 2, that he thought there was a chance that we might get some even bigger news today, and it looks like we'll get through today without anything crazy changing. But I mean, we see Friday night Les Miles gets put on administrative leave. I mean, all of this process, you're right, it has moved very quickly. So I don't want to ask you to just repeat if that's what you think is the most interesting part of this. But what else has caught your eye as this process has gone on? What have you thought about how it's been handled from KU's perspective over these last few days, especially?
It's really tricky because in part you try and understand it from all perspectives, right? And I think most everyone knows at this point, what we're kind of alluding to when we talk about allegations. Obviously, allegations of sexualization of student workers, which is terrible in and of itself, creates a really poisonous culture. And, on a very serious note, isn't today like International Women's Day, and like just the context and scope? I mean, those two things aren't necessarily related, but they are in another way, Women should be invited into, obviously, all environments that traditionally they haven't always had a place in, and certainly shouldn't be treated differently than their male counterparts, or have their looks or appearance or things, affect how they're used, what hours they're given, the roles they're in, which was sort of alleged to be the case, was alleged to be the case with certain positions at LSU. And then obviously, a pretty serious allegation, too, that, in a situation where he claims he was helping mentor a student worker, he's alleged to have kissed her potentially twice, and invited her to go somewhere else with him. And, so I don't know that there's anything necessarily that I find especially interesting beyond the obvious, kind of upsetting nature of a lot of what has been alleged and stuff that's, inappropriate, not acceptable. Just circling back around to the first thing I said, though, Les Miles was placed on administrative leave on Friday for Kansas to investigate and look into this stuff. And boy, would that be the fastest investigation ever.
Yeah.
If they turned that around Monday and said, "Yep, we've seen enough." That's why earlier today, I know you mentioned Seren, and I think there was, people who felt like it was going in that direction. For the record, I think that's the direction it goes in, right? It's very hard to imagine going any other direction, but I've just been surprised that this thing has moved at, I would say, a lot quicker than I thought it was, pretty much from start to finish. I mean, Thursday and Friday were when those reports came out, and, we're talking on Monday, and it feels like, wow, why hasn't this happened already?
Yeah. I was surprised to see that as well, to be honest, because, or even just kind of that speculation about how quickly it was moving at the time, because it seems like the whole point of the administrative leave is to say we're going to do our own investigation and everything, which if it doesn't take some time, it seems like the facade already starts developing cracks in it automatically. I don't know. At this point, it's hard to, for me, and I laid this out earlier, and I'll give you kind of the abridged version and see if you think this is fair or unfair, but the idea that pretty much anything sort of exonerates KU at this point, I think is a little bit out of the picture in my mind. And it's honestly also, it's why we started talking about this tonight around Jeff Long, because it seems like the Les Miles side of this is, in my mind, relatively open and shut. When you look at the fact that it got to this point with KU, though, that's now what's caught my eye, because either you have KU not knowing about these investigations, which Some anonymous, apparently high-ranking KU athletics official said to CBS Sports this weekend that they had done their background checks and this never came up. You have Les Miles' own attorney saying they had all of the information from one of these reports and would have known about the settlement and stuff like that. That doesn't seem to set KU up particularly well. At this point, I have a little bit of a damned if you did, damned if you didn't sort of viewpoint on this, Scott, where if KU didn't know about all of this in the background, that's a bad look in terms of how rushed the hire looks like it looks in retrospect. Some of that came out around the David Beatty whole settlement and all of that. And if they did know and they didn't care, that's an even worse look. So how do you parse sort of those two paths that to me both end in pretty upsetting spots for Kansas?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question. So I think about this two ways. One, I do think this is a bigger Les Miles deal than it is a Kansas deal. Even, considering his ties with Jeff Long, I will say this. Now, obviously, it could change. It could come out Jeff Long knew everything and didn't care. But I actually think, and I think this is probably more a fan thing than anything else, people like to conflate, hey, they don't like this guy or this athletic figure, this coach, whatever, and then something else comes out. And, it's the incompetence, the whatever. The way I see it, I think there are really four situations that, one of the four took place between Kansas, Jeff Long, Les Miles, Kansas, when the hiring happened. Number one, they knew about it, they didn't care. To me, that's the most reprehensible of the four. That would say, hey, you got to get athletic director, you got to get everyone out. Now, Kansas has denied knowing about this at the time, and even what Les Miles' attorney said, what you mentioned about the investigation, it seems like that was more talking about maybe a few weeks ago, or maybe time before that, but maybe not necessarily when he was hired, that they knew about this information. So I think that's where the difference is there. Number two is that they did vet him, and that he and others worked to conceal some of this stuff, which, I don't necessarily know that you can blame Kansas for that. Another one is that they didn't vet him enough. They trusted him too much, and Jeff Long said, he's my friend, I don't have to. That obviously, again, reflects really poorly on Kansas. And then I think the fourth one is that, maybe parties were bound for legal reasons and prevented from talking about things, which made things a little bit more complicated. Now, I don't think any of those four exonerate to use that word Jeff Long, because I think, let's be real for a second. Jeff Long is friends with Les Miles. Jeff Long was an athletic director in the SEC. Jeff Long should know about these things. That's, pretty much his job to know about these things, although, I am willing to accept the possibility that there are some things that people just won't know about. I mean, we didn't have, as we being reporters, we didn't necessarily have wind that some great investigation or something was coming. Now, obviously, we're not collecting millions of dollars to hire a football coach, but, I'd probably be a little bit more generous to Long in that regard. I would just say that the biggest issue he faces is how do you let him hire another football coach? Oh, excuse me, smoothie there. As I burp into a phone on a radio interview about a very serious topic.
It's fine. I was accidentally starting to talk over you anyway, so honestly, I feel like I pretty much ran like a nice little screen for you there.
No, you ran good interference there. But how do you let him? How do you let that guy hire another football coach? I think that's the big question, right? Like how do you let Jeff Long? I mean, Jeff Long and Les Miles, as much as they want to say it isn't or whatever they want to say, I can't even. Who knows? But it was a package deal. You got Jeff Long, and he was going to bring Les Miles. I think a lot of people were excited about that. I think there's a lot of good on the field with the program that Les Miles has done, rebuilding scholarship numbers, all that. So, and that too speaks to the thing I was talking about, where now you have people jumping on this and being like, well, the Les Miles hire was obviously, it was always a disaster, X, Y, and Z, their winless seasons. Like, nope, he's rebuilt the numbers. He's done everything they've asked him to on the field, because winning games this year, not the objective. Rebuilding the program was, but, I think in a bigger picture sense, it's really hard then to go and let Jeff Long hire a new coach.
Yeah. That's where I end up, that I think even the most generous reading of it, and even if the facts play out most generously in favor of the hiring process and all of that, I don't know if I can ever come up with a reasonable answer to why should Jeff Long hire the next head coach. Because, I mean, also the idea that, that it was a package deal, I'll be the first to say that, you know, without having any of this information, I would have done that exact same thing. You know what? We've seen KU try all this different stuff to try to get this program out of the dumpster, and at the very least, right now, what you have is a former SEC athletic director that seems to have his stuff together. We'll see, and a former national championship winning head coach that seems willing to take on a rebuilding project, which I think is still fair to say, as you kind of pointed out there, he was, you know, has been on the path of doing. It's just that as soon as you find out about some of the skeletons that may be landing in the closet there, it all starts falling apart.
Yeah, well, no, it definitely does. And again, Les Miles' on-field state, or I guess not necessarily on-field, but rebuilding the program success, you know, that definitely doesn't take away from any of what is alleged and what is surrounding him. I mean, Kansas just as a program now is in a really tough spot too, because if you do make a coaching change, you know, I looked up the numbers, and man, you know, I think it was $8 million, $7.9 million, something like that, and maybe a $200,000 bonus in there to buy out Les Miles. And you know, if you buy out Les Miles, and then you want to do the same thing for Jeff Long as athletic director, that's another $3.5 million. Josh, this is a program that, you know, what was it, a year ago, was fighting tooth and nail to not pay David Beatty $3 million, to the extent that, and this is me editorializing a little bit, just from my viewpoint, you know, kind of borderline manufactured fired for cause situation when they obviously had fired him without cause. I believe even saying they had, and then a review after the fact found like a level 3 violation that they felt was so egregious that, you know, they shouldn't have to pay his buyout. You know, like that's how hard they fought to not pay $3 million. This, you're talking about potentially 8, potentially 3.5, potentially, you know, hiring new coaches, new staff members, whatever. I think, too, that's why you're seeing a lot of the comments that have come out. Like, when Les Miles was placed on administrative leave, and the first thing his attorney says is that the allegations are baseless and KU is caving to media pressure and X, Y, and Z, that, to me, is more setting up for the inevitable lawsuit if he does get fired, which is, or negotiations or whatever over a buyout. I think that's what I read from that. So, you know, I do agree with you in a big picture sense. And again, like I said, I put less of the blame on Jeff Long than I think probably like 70% of people who are familiar with this story, based off what we know now. Now, information could come out that could totally change that, and I would be totally, obviously, as a reporter, open to hearing and reporting on and sharing that information. But I would say even to that point, even to that generous nature, I'm not necessarily sure you want Jeff Long doing that. And oh, by the way, Bill Self's contract is up in a year. I'm not necessarily sure you want him hiring a basketball coach either. So it puts Kansas in a really tough spot.
Yeah. What do you? I'm saying this not just in terms of do you think that Les Miles is the head coach whenever the season kicks off, but also in terms of what you would expect in terms of finding a resolution. And as you mentioned, how long it took to really get a final resolution on David Beatty. What do you think is smartest to expect at this point in terms of how this ultimately unfolds?
Well, I mean, it's going to be tough if they let this be a black cloud that hangs over the program for a while. And I know it's, you know, for someone who has, you know, absolutely no stake here, I mean, yeah, it's very easy for me to sit back and say, well, they should just find $8 million, make it go away. You know, but, you know, it's seldom as simple as that. I think this is something that could drag on. You know, at this point, I think there's a lot of public pressure on KU to do something with Les Miles. I'm not sure the best decisions are often made in haste, but, you know, it does seem like this thing has been moving in one direction and moving one way. I just think the thing is, if you're Kansas, how you would typically play this to you know, it's probably not the right terminology, but how you would go about this situation, you learn about this. Okay, now you're gonna look into his time at Kansas, see if he's doing the same things. And if not, you're going to evaluate options and see what you can do. And to me, that's a process that takes time. Kansas still hasn't named an interim coach. They have a guy in Mike DeBoer in charge of the program, which, you know, the optics of that aren't great considering, you know, the guy they picked to put, you know, to be in charge of the program in the absence of Les Miles is Mike DeBoer, a guy who was also at Michigan with the two of them. Like, that to me, even though, like, there's nothing wrong with Mike DeBoer, he seems like a fine person, he's been a good coach, like, the optics of that, just going from one Michigan man to the other Michigan man, like...
And he also just got there 30 minutes ago, which is got to be unique in terms of an interim head coach situation.
Yes, granted, they don't have obviously Brent Fearman there, and he's very, very experienced. And again, the distinction is he's not the interim coach. He is he's the whatever you want to call him, the guy who's in charge right now. But I mean, that's something they'd have to figure out too. I think the most likely scenario at this point is one of two things: one being an interim coach coaching out the next season for Kansas, maybe two, I don't know, a suspension or something for Les Miles, but I would have thought there was a legitimate chance of that before his attorney's statement that came out, which really made me think this thing is headed toward a firing and buyout negotiations. I think it's still possible. I think there's still probably a 10, 15% chance, maybe more. Maybe I'm not being fair enough that, Les Miles actually wouldn't get fired from all of this. I think maybe I'm being too generous. I mean, but I think the most likely outcome at this point, you go with the interim coach, you figure it out, and that also gives you some time to figure out what you want to do with Jeff Long, right? Yeah. If you go with an interim coach and you're going to start your coaching search in October or November, then you don't have to make an immediate decision on Jeff Long. You don't have to. You can take some time. You can figure out what your financial state is. You can cover a little bit, or at least try to, especially depending on how any court proceedings go. So there's a lot to work out. I think it's going to be a complicated issue, though, and I just don't think even if tomorrow, let's say tomorrow at 9:30 a.m., or I guess based off how Kansas announces things, tomorrow at 10:55 p.m., they send out their release that Les Miles has been fired, whatever. This thing is not ending there. I think it drives on a lot longer.
This is also maybe even too big picture for the moment, so I acknowledge that on the front end. But it's just such a cluster bleep, man. For a program that has been a literal punchline throughout college football for nearly a decade now, for its various reasons. You can go to Charlie Weiss and all of the things that followed him, to just now with David Beatty, it wasn't that the head coach was inherently funny in his failure. It's just that the program had been so completely demolished by seemingly itself for, again, a decade. Now they get the name that gives them a little bit of pedigree and gives you something. The KU football brand, what became Les Miles in a way that was supposed to be a rejuvenation for it. And now, I mean, it's hard to imagine a lot of ways in which that goes worse for them. Do you have any thoughts on that in the very, very large, zoomed out, big picture view of how KU football has now found another way in which to be essentially a laughingstock in some way?
Well, if there's any ever question why programs hate firing head coaches, it's not because you're one coach away, usually, from destroying your program, but because you are always two coaches away. And if the first hire is the bad hire, that's when you become one hire away. And you think about that, I mean, that's exactly how Kansas got down this path. It was not one bad coaching hire that, did it. It was one bad coaching hire, followed by a bad coaching hire, followed by a third one that maybe could have at least restored the program and fixed it, even though it would have taken a while. But that was another bad hire. And, again, I think there is a disconnect because, I mean, nothing has been a reality check more than this, which is the same, 48 hours after Les Miles was placed on administrative leave, actually less than that. It was 42 hours after he was placed on leave. Kansas landed a commitment from, a top 1,000 player, a really talented 3-star offensive tackle, big-time target for them. And it's hold on. The coach just got placed on administrative leave, probably going to get it certainly looks like it's going in the direction that he'd probably not be coaching there next year, and they're landing a commitment. And it just goes to kind of speak to the kind of disconnect that I've been talking about. But, yeah, I mean, when people wanted David Beatty to fix the scholarship numbers and fix the Kansas program, so to speak, and I'm not sure he had the ability to do that by himself because he didn't bring the credibility that if they have 3 bad seasons, he's still going to land the caliber of player that you need to turn something around. But people wondered, why was he so afraid to bite the bullet, so to speak, and just take high school guys and rebuild the program? You saw it last year with Les Miles. You saw how much damage had been done to the Kansas program. And I think in a big picture sense, To a lot of people, Kansas football is a punchline. To a lot of people right now, it is something that they see as, it's never going to turn around, whatever, when, in all actuality, 12, 13 years ago, it was a program that, won an Orange Bowl. So, not saying that's the level of success Kansas should have, but it's the level of success Kansas did have. Kansas was winning back-to-back bowl games, just over a decade ago. So, I think one coach did not get KU into this problem. One coach probably will not get KU out of this problem. But it did seem like Les Miles could have been the first of probably two to, really get this thing turned around. And, now I think there's just a lot of ambiguity. I think there are a lot of questions. I think whatever happens next has to be handled correctly because you are on the cusp. I mean, think about the transfer situation in college football. You're on the cusp of not only turning off fan base, donors, all these things, but, you might have a team, you might have a corner in place, and you might be on, I don't want to say cusp because that makes it feel like something is imminent, but you're right on that edge where you do things right, you're a lot closer to being fixed. You do things wrong, you ready to endure another decade of this. So I think from that position, things are really precarious in Lawrence.
I'll let you go on that note, Scott. Thank you for talking about it tonight. Sorry, this segment had absolutely nothing fun to offer for you this week.
That's okay. Sometime I'll have to get you to explain that liner that you introduced me on because I've never heard that before.
Here's the thing. This is the issue with the liners sometimes. I have no idea where that came from.
Do you want me to remind you? Because I remember.
Sure. Let's see if we can get out of this on a better note, I guess.
Last week when Scott came on.
This was last week this happened?
Yeah.
God, I'm a nightmare.
You were
I can't
talking
remember
about
anything.
signing up for
Paramount Plus.
Yep.
That's right. There you go. It was that if you signed up for 24/7 Sports VIP access through fog.net, you could also get a free year of Paramount Plus. And I was talking about the joys of being able to both read your exquisite work at 247sports.com and also watch SpongeBob.
Okay. That makes so much more sense. I honestly, this is just where my head goes. I was like, is this like Josh's weird attempt at like making fun of me having a slightly higher pitched voice? And then I was like, wait, has he heard his own voice? And then I stopped thinking about it for a little bit.
I'm sorry I made you so self-conscious, Scott. It wasn't my goal in any way, shape, or form. Thank you for joining us on this radio show.
Thanks for having me.
Ah! That's my SpongeBob laugh. Did that sound like a SpongeBob laugh? Anyway.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. I don't know. Shrug. Follow Scott on Twitter at Chasen Scott. Squidward. Do you think any other radio shows talked about serious allegations levied towards a well-known former national championship winning head coach, and then on the other side of it, the host of the show found out that maybe he's got a Squidward impression in there somewhere?
Probably somebody in Alabama would be my guess.
You can follow Scott on Twitter at Chasen Scott. Do go check out his work at fog.net. That's PHOG because it's Kansas. Or you can go to kansas.247sports.com. If you sign up there, you get all sorts of VIP access across the 24/7 Sports network, and it's all really great. If you're invested in KU athletics in any meaningful way, go check out Scott and the rest of the guys he's got on that staff there at fog.net. I don't know. I wanted to say let's take a break as Squidward, but I think I can only do the impression if it starts with me going, Squidward, let's take a break. Where's my clarinet? Or what?
Want more Almost Entirely Sports? Watch the show live on the Sports Radio 810 Facebook page.
Hey, it's former Jayhawk Greg Gurley. Kansas fans and alumni are in every city and state we play. If your favorite Jayhawk fans are missing home, send them some Joe's KC barbecue. Nothing beats home court and championship barbecue on game day. Joe's will ship anywhere in the U.S. It's easy to reheat, and it tastes just as good at home as it does at Joe's. You can ship all of Joe's favorites, like ribs, brisket, burn ends, and even the famous Z-Man. Ordering is easy, and it's just a few clicks away at joeskc.com. Another season of frigid temperatures is finally behind us. But with the good comes some bad, because another winter in the books means another year of wear and tear on your roof. Greg Gurley here. Wouldn't it be nice to sleep well knowing you can trust the roof over your head? You can with the company I trust, Buck Roofing. Buck Roofing has fixed the roof over my mom's head and thousands of KC homeowners and commercial buildings. Jayhawks, Wildcats, and Tigers all agree that Buck Roofing is simply the best in Kansas City. Ron and his team are experts in residential, commercial roofing, and they can do your gutters too. Don't just take my word for it. Check their rating with Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. Buck Roofing will do only the work that needs to be done, and you can trust that you are getting a fair bid. Put this number in your phone now, 913-384-2680. That's 913-384-2680, or online at ourbuckroofing.com. And sleep well knowing Buck Roofing fixed the roof over your head.
Golfers, tee it up this year at Edwin Watts Golf Shops with the hottest new arrivals from Ping. Introducing the new Ping G425 series. The G425 drivers have the highest MOI and is the most forgiving driver in golf. Increase your swing and ball speed with proven Ping innovations with 3 models to fit all golfers. Swing by Edwin Watts Golf Shops and get custom fit today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee, and shop us online at worldwidegolfshops.com.
Hey, it's Todd Lebo here for Certa Pro Painters. They've done great work at my house. Inside, outside, it's always great. From the estimate to the prep work to the cleanup, worry-free all the way. Give them a call for a free estimate, 1-800-GO-CERTA. That's 1-800-GO-CERTA, or go to CertaPro.com for more information. Now is a great time to update your home. There's no reason to wait. Call 1-800-GO-CERTA or visit CertaPro.com today to experience the Certa Pro Painters difference for yourself. It's Certa Pro Painters, proven and trusted experts in painting.
What does your smile say about you? Are you happy, confident, friendly? Getting and keeping that smile takes work. Proper brushing and flossing daily, and drinking fluoridated water. Fluoridated water has been in use for 75 years and is considered the most safe, equitable, and cost-effective way to prevent tooth decay. A healthy smile means a healthy person and a healthy community. For more information, visit health.mo.gov. A message from the Missouri Department of Health and Senior Services.
What you doing?
Designing my new 2021 Nissan Kicks Online in the Kicks Color Studio. I give each a special name. This one's electric blue, orange, red, white. I call it the gumball machine. You think it's me?
I feel like you're more of a red velvet guy.
Limitless possibilities. With over 100 million available color combinations and Bose Personal Plus system in the boldly new 2021 Nissan Kicks. Bose is a registered trademark of the Bose Corporation. Color combinations include interior and exterior colors. Customization is an available feature subject to availability at participating Nissan dealers. See dealer for details.
Weekends are for whiskey-soaked prime rib cooked low and slow, finished over an open flame, and boozy brunches with your besties at Red Door Wood-Fired Grill, Kansas City's #1 upscale neighborhood joint. We just have one piece of advice for when you join us. Come hungry. Everything here is made from scratch, including our legendary chicken and waffles and the best Kansas City strip you'll ever eat for $20. Prepare yourself to take a tender, juicy bite of perfection. What are you waiting for? Reserve your table today at reddoorgrill.com or download our new app.
Attention, men. Over half of you will suffer from erectile dysfunction. There is a solution. The Kansas City Men's Clinic. If you're having trouble getting or maintaining an erection or both, and regardless of age, medical condition, or performance issue, they can help. Call the Kansas City Men's Clinic today. For a limited time, a confidential consultation and all testing is only $99. Call 816-608-8189. That's 816-608-8189. Or go to thekansascitymensclinic.com.
You're listening to Almost Entirely Sports.
Human Torch says, I was too old and didn't smoke weed, so I'm out on SpongeBob.
I was exactly the right age, and 13 was
I don't know.
That's when I smoked the most weed.
With Joshua Brisco.
My 13th birthday party was pirate theme. My 14th birthday party theme, the Devil's Lettuce and SpongeBob.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
I know that I have a very strange job because occasionally I worry that my mom is listening in just pockets without context. And that can't be, like, if you just have a normal job, that's just simply something you don't worry about.
Maybe she can tell us about this 14th birthday party.
Brings a whole new meaning to a Krabby Patty.
My mom either knows what I'm about to say is a fact, or she is going to have to be now second guessing if I have just been living a lie since I was 14. I didn't even drink until my 21st birthday at all. At some point around 18, 19, I just decided it was something that I was going to get all the way to.
That's a long time to go without, like, you just didn't drink anything?
Nope.
No water?
Nope. No liquids.
Like orange juice,
nope.
milk?
So most people are.
Not even a Coke?
Most people, nope. No
There's
Coke.
no ice?
Most people
at room temperature.
So ice was a big part of me actually being able to pull that off because it's a solid when you're like eating it. So I would just chew it and
Fair point.
swallow the ice chunks, you know,
Fair
and then
point.
it would melt inside. And also I just have a very low percentage in my body is actually
And then
made of
you
water.
just freeze different drinks and make ice cubes that are like, orange juice flavored.
Tequila. I just didn't drink tequila until I was 21. I was eating tequila ice chips at, I don't know, 7 or 8.
I don't think you can freeze tequila.
It has to get colder than the temperature of water. You can definitely freeze it, though. You just have to have, like...
Oh.
It freezes at a temperature. Everything freezes at a given temperature.
Sure?
Sure. What temperature does tequila freeze?
I mean, it's colder than what water freezes. That's
yeah,
for sure.
-100 to -170 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh, okay.
So like
I mean,
it's
that's fair.
really
Yeah,
tough.
yeah.
But I had a special freezer,
Yeah,
so
okay.
I could
Understandable.
get lit at my 14th birthday party.
I guess I just assumed like with alcohol essentially inside of it. Just no,
It makes it really
I've
tough.
only ever seen it obviously just inside a normal freezer, so I've just assumed probably doesn't freeze. But that was just a normal
Just
freezer.
negative. So water freezes at 32 degrees. You could freeze liquor between -100 and -170 degrees.
It's a wide range. Now I imagine it depends on the type of liquor, right?
Probably. Yeah, probably.
Like vodka, maybe it's 110, but whiskey is 165. Runs a little warm.
So yeah, my first liquid was my 21st birthday. I just when it was raining that day, I went
Yeah.
outside and just looked at the sky and opened my mouth.
So it's all downhill from here.
I've just been very waterlogged since then. It's great because also I didn't urinate for the first 21 years of my life either. I really thought that Scott made an excellent point about KU football last segment. I really thought.
Which point was that?
I really thought that's where this was going to start here.
And what point was that, Josh?
Thank you, Rudy. The idea that
or what?
The idea that no college football program is one bad hire away from everything going to hell, but just about every college football program is 2 bad hires away, and KU right now is on a streak.
Yep.
Mark Mangino obviously had great success for a long time at KU, but the way that it ended, I don't want to say that necessarily counts as one, but they were in a bit of peril. But you thought, as long as we can get the right head coach in to maximize the good things and then not have to continue investigating his coaching practice, we'll be all right. Then Turner Gill comes in.
Who is very much like the opposite of Mark Mangino in a lot of ways.
Who also, in retrospect, he won 5 games in 2 years.
It's a good point.
He has the best winning percentage of any head coach since Mark Mangino.
What's Turner Gill up to these days?
But he comes in and he gets 2 years, and they say, all right, well, that was clearly the wrong hire.
He did take away cell phones from players like the day before games because he didn't want them texting girls because it would distract them.
Yeah, and that's good.
He ended up at a very
management.
religious school. Yeah, Liberty. He's now at Arkansas. All comes back to Arkansas.
Really always comes back to Arkansas. But Turner Gill goes, and you go, all right, well, now this team has gone 5-19 in 2 years. What are we going to do to fix this? What if we bring in Charlie Weiss?
He won 4 Big South co-champions. 2012,
Turner
2013,
Gill did?
2014, and 2016. Yeah.
Bring Charlie Weiss in, obviously a big name with both pro and college connections, and also some failures, to be honest. But bring in
Matt Castle to a Pro Bowl.
It's true. Bring in Charlie Weiss. That goes even worse. Well, now you're 2 bad coaching hires in, and it is a mess. Then David Beatty comes in, and by number of wins, it's even worse.
How many is it, Josh?
It's just bad. It's just bad the whole way through. And then you say, you know what? All right, We're building back up. We're going to have a proven actual college football head coach with a pedigree that is going to turn this sinking ship around. And it seems like Les Miles may have just taken a cannonball to the side of the ship, and it's getting the water continues to flow in.
So Liberty moved up from 1AA to 1A. Turner Gill was there for one season that they were there at Division 1A. And now the schedule is obviously very different. The teams that they're playing are very different. It's not a Big 12 schedule. They're an independent school. Turner Gill in his one season at Liberty at the Division 1 level won 6 games. He won 5 games in his 2 years at Kansas. Now again, schedule, very, very different. Very different schedule. But then I think Liberty, I guess, decided we've seen Turner Gill at this level and moved on.
The other thing about the idea that you're always 2 coaches away from like a huge trend change really does make this seem almost like a fool's errand. Like, what could the next head coach of Kansas possibly bring to the table that you think is going to bring about a meaningful turnaround? Maybe if you can keep the exodus of Les Miles recruits from leaving, and I think there's a chance that you do get that mass exodus. But if
you're going to get an exodus, it's just how big, right? Just because with any change of coach, no matter even if the coach you bring in is a KU could bring in Nick Saban next year, and there's going to be guys transfer out, right? Because that's just how this process goes.
If you can just with duct tape and twine keep some of the positives that Les Miles was able to bring in over these last couple of years, if you can hold it together, maybe the next guy that comes in is not in a worse place than Les Miles was whenever he took over from David Beatty, but it's still not a good situation to be in.
Who was honestly in a worse place than what he was when he took over for Charlie White. Like that's been the problem. It's been this so far. It's Turner Gill left Kansas in a worse spot than it was when Mangino left, and then Charlie Weiss left in a worse spot than what Turner Gill left, and then David Bay. And it's just it has been this snowball effect of, and it's not like it's not like this new like you just want to say pile of dirt that the next coach has to deal with. It's just literally like piling on top. Like Les Miles was dealing with issues that Charlie Weiss caused.
Yeah,
it's rare that you see issues from 2 coaches ago that you're still dealing with, but KU was dealing with that. And the reality is, whoever the next coach is going to be dealing with issues that, again, Charlie Weiss caused. Now, in theory, the next coach wouldn't have had to because Les Miles would have fixed that. But the way this is going, Les Miles is going to be gone before that had a chance to be resolved. And so you're going to have the next coach who's dealing with issues from 3 coaches ago. Yeah. And that is a wild spot to be in.
Maybe Les Miles cleaned up a little bit of the dirt that was before him, but also now you come in. The next coach's biggest issue might be financial, where you've got KU paying off 2 coaches still. I don't know if they're actually. I think David Beatty has cashed his check. I imagine. I can't remember.
Charlie
off the
Weiss
top of my
might
head.
still be getting a check.
Charlie Weiss could still be getting a direct deposit.
You want me to call him and ask?
Yeah.
Ask first, parrot.
Wow. Actually, this would have been the time for you to have taken your shot on the Charlie Weiss contact in your phone, Beards.
Just ask first, parrot. He'll put him right on.
It's just such a mess. And I don't know.
Well, and also
I don't know who do you invite in after this?
That's the thing. Like if you're, and so part of this is, if you're, depending on who you are as a coach, right? Like there's only so many Power 5 jobs that open up just because there's only so many Power 5 jobs in general. So it's not like you're not going to be able to find somebody. Somebody will obviously take the job.
It's also not an NFL job. There's not just 32 of them.
Yeah, absolutely. But you are running into a point where it's how much money is KU going to have to spend? You look at the program and just like the state that it's in, like you do start running into a situation to where, again, we don't know this. It appears Brent Dearman left because he probably had some sort of idea that this was happening.
Here's what we can do. Brent Dearman left about a month ago.
Yes.
That's just Brent Dearman left about a month ago.
And the reality is the Brent Dearmans of the world are not going to take the KU job.
Yeah.
They would rather, the vast majority, I shouldn't say every single one, but the vast majority are going to want to stay at their place as the offensive coordinator, waiting for that better job.
Brent Dearman left about a month ago to go be the same guy, in the same role, offensive coordinator, quarterbacks coach at Middle Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
Just We don't know what he knew. We don't know. He left at a very weird time to move from Kansas to Middle Tennessee.
Yeah.
And even, tell you what, it's almost worse if he didn't know anything that was coming with Les Miles, because and it sounds like there's some other stuff that was, that he may have had other reasons for wanting to be in Tennessee and stuff. Fine.
Also, like,
it's
even without the Les,
atrocious look.
even without the Les Miles part, like I said it back then. I still looked at it as honestly like a bit of an upgrade. You go to a place where you actually have, at the very least, your average talent compared to your opponents. Whereas like at KU, you're dealing with just like that lack in talent between KU and the average Big 12 defense. It's just, it was like the Grand Canyon. Middle Tennessee State, you can do good things offensively and move on to an actual head coaching gig.
If they have to pay the vast majority of Les Miles' buyout and everything, and also maybe they have to pay Jeff Long also, KU probably has the worst head coaching opening in the Power 5 football.
It's already
one of the worst ever.
Yeah.
For maybe the second or third consecutive hiring cycle. That's crazy.
It's by far, if the job opens up, it's by far the worst Power 5 job like out there, and it's just not close.
Because at least with Les Miles,
and it's gotten worse since Les got the job.
Sure,
like,
sure.
And
because
it has continued to get worse each step of the way.
Les Miles was at least going to be paid really well to try to take on this rebuilding project. The next coach will not be paid like Les Miles was, and this is just the nature of coach hiring. You go from Turner Gill to Charlie Weiss to David Beatty to Les Miles. The next coach is not gonna. They're not gonna go hire Steve Sarkisian. It's like that's not. I just don't think you're gonna get some name that you even really know coming into this job next, because anyone with any reasonable options is not coming to Kansas football. It's the last. It is going to be. It's got to look like a coaching graveyard at this point.
It feels like the only people who are going to take this job kind of fall into one of two categories. And we've seen one of them essentially at Kansas, the David Beatty type, the receiver coach who is now getting a chance to essentially skip the coordinator, who maybe he's not sure if he's going to get that chance at a coordinator spot.
Yep.
Or it's the David Coley situation, right? The guy who maybe thinks his time has passed, he's not going to get a chance at a head coaching gig, and then all of a sudden Kansas is like, here you go. And there's a sense of, one, it is a big pay raise, right? Because like even a low-paid head coach will more than likely, for whoever that person may be, like, again, that David Coley type, might be 3 times what he's been making. And he may look at this like, this is it. This is my only chance. This may not go well. It probably won't, but this is it. So what do I have to lose?
And so the distinction that I would make there is that I'm not even really talking. If you're the collegiate David Coley, which also does mean multiplying that by a negative factor of 10, because we're talking about 32 jobs as opposed to the entire Power 5.
Which is 60-ish.
Someone will take the job.
Yeah.
Someone will take the job for sure. By the way, I say Power 5. It might be the worst job in Division I football.
Yeah, I don't know every single Division I job, but it's without a doubt one of the 5 worst.
Whenever I said it might be the worst job in Power 5 earlier, what I was really thinking is it might be the worst job in Division I football.
It's definitely the worst between, I would say, I feel confident saying Power 5 and Group of 5, which is that that next
That's
step
fair.
below.
Sure.
But I would say
with
that it is probably a bottom 5 in just all of college football. But 100% bottom 10, probably bottom 5.
But here's the thing. So like one gunner down on Twitch says a stepping stone head coach. I don't think a head coach can look at the KU job as a stepping stone to something better.
No.
Because who has touched Kansas football and gone to something better? Britt Dearman, who came in and was really genuinely interesting and innovative and exciting, he left for something neutral at best. At best, he left for something neutral. So to the David Coley comparison, if I'm going to use that and say that KU right now is the Houston Texans without Deshaun Watson, by the way.
Which is a problem.
Which is a big problem.
That's a big problem.
Of course, someone will take the Kansas head football coaching job.
Yeah.
I can say that if they offered me the job with a reasonable Power 5 head coach salary.
Oh boy.
Sure.
I'd be gone so fast.
I'll take it on, and then also, can you keep this chair warm? Because I'll be back in about a year and a half, if I had to guess.
In that year and a half, the amount of money I can make, I might be good.
I need the attention.
That's fair.
But think about not just will they fill the seat? They will fill the seat.
Yeah.
What real quality candidates do you expect to find this job enticing? Because if you are good enough at your job to have options, you are not going to choose this option. This is, as you, again, with the kind of the David Coley kind of comparison. If you have no other choice, then you would say, you know what, if this is my only head coaching opportunity that I'm going to have in my career, then I'll go to Kansas.
Yep.
Fine.
And there's
but who is that guy?
There's a little bit of a difference too, and this is where a college football thing where, and maybe it is a guy who is a head coach. Like I was listening to a conversation, just like listening to a podcast, and they were talking about the head coach in North Texas, and 5-6 years ago he was the next hot name. He decided not to take a job, thinking a better job will open up, and now he's just kind of died down. Right now he's a head coach, but he may look at Kansas like this is my only group of or Power 5 chance.
Yeah.
Right now, not that he would. So, but which even though that's not necessarily the David Coley type, because he is a head
best
coach.
case is you're finding a post-hype head coach from a smaller
Yes,
school.
Exactly.
And it almost literally can't get worse.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but it can always get worse.
Yeah, it's true. I would have said that 2 years ago as well. It's just a huge mess, which is at the very least something that KU football is pretty comfortable being.
At JB Brisco, at Beards McFly, at Not That Rudy, at Sports Radio 810. Just do it already.
Hi, this is Justin Cole, Private Wealth Manager at Creative Planning. Over the last few years, we have grown to one of the largest nationally recognized wealth management firms in the country. While we are proud of our success, we are most proud of our Kansas City roots. We were founded in Kansas City and remain headquartered here because there's no place we'd rather be. We are Kansas City strong. Thank you, Kansas City, and thank you to our clients. If you're not a client, we invite you to reach out for a free, no-obligation financial review. You can find us at creativeplanning.com or by calling 913-338-2727.
Guys, have some free time? PRA Health Sciences is seeking healthy, non-smoking men ages 18 to 45 to participate in a study of an investigational medication. Volunteers must be available for 4 stays of 3 nights each and 1 follow-up visit. Qualified participants may receive compensation up to $6,000 for time and travel. Call PRA today at 913-210-5900 or visit us on the web at prastudies.com/Lenexa.
These days, more and more women are asking for fancy-shaped diamonds. Ovals, princess cuts, cushion cuts, ashers, marquise, heart-shaped, pear-shaped, emerald cuts. All very popular this year. And no one has more of these special shapes than Diamonds Direct. In fact, we've just increased our selection of these beautiful stones, with sizes ranging from a ½ carat up to 10 carats. And while other jewelers will try to tell you these fancy shapes cost more, the fact is, as you'll learn at Diamonds Direct, fancy-shaped diamonds should always cost up to 20% less than the same size round diamond. Plus, in many cases, a fancy-shaped diamond will have a larger face and appear bigger than a round diamond with the same carat weight. So, with a fancy-shaped diamond, you can get a bigger look for a lower price and have a diamond that stands out from the crowd. Come to Diamonds Direct and get the facts about fancy-shaped diamonds, see the largest selection, and get the guaranteed best price. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion. At 119th and Row.
Hey guys, Corey Anderson. On Friday, I'm going to be checking out the Kansas Open Season Sportsman's Expo. It's going on all weekend long at the Overland Park Convention Center. The Kansas Open Season Sportsman's Expo will be filled with the latest products, gear, and equipment for hunting, fishing, and outdoor enthusiasts. Attendees can meet industry insiders and celebrities, test out the newest products, shop for special show deals, and bring your deer to have it scored in their Trophy Deer Contest. For more information or to purchase tickets, visit OpenSeasonSportsman'sExpo.com.
Hey everyone, Les Norman here, host of the Breaking the Norm Show. Since '95, I've made KC my home, and since then, I've seen a World Series champion in 15, a Super Bowl champion in 20, and the greatest fans supporting both. It's the people that make me proud to call KC home. You're passionate about your teams and each other. During this crazy time, keep caring for and loving each other. And thank you for making KC not only the greatest sports city, but also the most caring and helpful place to watch sports. Stay healthy, be safe, don't panic, and keep loving each other well.
Harry's Razors just came out with their sharpest blades ever. But unlike other razor companies, they're not charging you more. Harry's new sharper blades are still as low as $2 each. You heard me right, just $2. How do they do it? Harry's owns a German factory that's been honing razor blades for 100 years. They source their steel from Sweden and own the entire manufacturing process, from research and development to the factory floor. It allows them to keep the prices lower. How confident are they? A 100% quality guarantee. You'll see it at harrys.com. Blades are even delivered directly to you. No getting unmasked and standing in line. They're delivered straight to your door, with or without a subscription. And right now, Harry's has a great offer for my listeners. New customers get $5 off a Harry's trial set when you use the promo code PETRO, P-E-T-R-O, at harrys.com. That's a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, foaming shave gel, and travel cover, all for just $3, plus free shipping. That's razor, weighted handle, foaming shave gel, and travel cover, all for $3, shipped to you for free. Only at harrys.com, only with promo code PETRO.
This is Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
All right, here's a way to end the show. KU Athletics just released a statement during the break. They have mutually agreed to part ways with Les Miles, effective immediately. Here's from Jeff Long. I'm extremely disappointed for our university, fans, and everyone involved with our football program. There's a lot of young talent on this football team, and I have no doubt we will identify the right individual to lead this program. We will begin the search for a new head coach immediately with an outside firm to assist this process. We need to win football games, and that is exactly what we're going to do. 10-12! I mean, I don't think that's the first thing you need to do, Jeff. And I feel like right now Jeff Long is a little bit of the guy in the hot dog costume saying we're going to find out whoever did this. There's your big news as the night ends. KU and Les Miles have parted ways. I'll be very interested to see what mutual means. We'll be very interested to see where it goes from here. We'll talk about it more tomorrow night. Until then, bye, Mom.
You are listening to Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco on Sports Radio 810 WHB. March Madness is on its way. Sports Radio 810 is your exclusive home of Championship Week with live coverage from downtown at T-Mobile Center